Okay.
What's
Take it in.
I think the first words this week were "close the door" from Chuck.
No, I think that
Sorry,
happened just before
My
it went
4-year-old had to come in and wash my doorknob.
live.
Okay, there you go. Well, that's actually a good thing. Doorknobs have a lot of germs on them, so.
I'm always touching it with
Yes.
my sticky food hand. Oh wait, that's my kids.
Bro, what's up? Chuck is like, and if you come in here again, I will beat your ass! He plays a nice guy on podcasts, and then
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
I don't care if you're bleeding.
I have said
Bleed
that
on
to
the
my
carpet.
kids.
Better not bleed on the carpet.
But I'm bleeding. Then get a Band-Aid. I don't.
My
What I
usual
tell- Put
response
it in
to
the
the kids
freezer. Put it on ice.
is you're not bleeding yet. I don't care.
I have pulled that before too. You want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh, that I hate that one. My
Yeah,
dad
I
used
know.
to say that to me all the time. That's one that I refuse to ever say. I
Yeah,
used to get that one from my dad all the time.
I haven't used that one yet.
I haven't either.
It's amazing because like yeah, I got that one too, right? We all got that when we were kids, I think. And then like today, that
Right.
would be like if you heard someone say that to their kid, you'd be like, "Oh my god!" Right? But like, but then when you hear your parents' stories about what their parents did, you're like, "What
Yeah.
the hell?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in the 1930s, you could just beat someone else's kid and pull them by the ear. Like that was just totally acceptable. Just like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing, punk?"
Yeah.
Smack.
We had a lot more crime and violence back. Oh wait, never mind.
No, actually, that's true. We did. If you
We did actually.
look at the
Yeah.
history and trends of violence and crime over the centuries, it is, in spite of our constant infatuation with all of the crime and violence these days because of the availability of it via the internet,
Exactly.
crime is actually down significantly. We just see a lot more of it because it's presented to us 24 hours a day on the
Yeah.
news and on the internet.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, when you look at like history, that's one thing. Like traveling through Europe, like you're like, oh, this was the part where like millions of people got murdered here and here.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, let's see. That's interesting because they're like, oh, 1,000 people got killed. Not that it's like not a big deal that 1,000 people got killed, but I mean, World War II, like what, like 20 million people killed.
Yeah.
Like, can you even like 20 million? That's a lot. Like.
Yeah.
And then you look at like I mean Cambodia and Pol Pot and like I mean,
Rwanda and
yeah, like today is a peaceful time. Like so when people say the world's all going to hell now, and like I'm like, okay, I understand that like morality is like getting looser than it was 10 years ago, but it is nothing like the Dark Ages.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you see what ISIS does, it's like that was just common stuff. Like that was just like, all right, time for the
Yeah.
Inquisition. Let's just like tear people apart and burn them alive. That's just what we do.
Yeah.
sadly, that is true.
So I listened to
Yeah.
last week's episode.
It was
Wow,
epic.
guys.
3 hours.
The beatdown.
Yeah, the 3-hour beatdown session.
We were doing a filibuster until you showed up.
Pretty much.
It was really funny to listen to because, yeah, after about the first 5 minutes of going into what Derek's willing to or not willing to do, I pretty much could have rehearsed the rest of the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know how this is gonna go.
It's-
And we had a nice dinner, Derek and I.
yes, it was
Oh,
a
cool.
lovely little date, candlelight, fancy wine.
That's right. Dead animals on a plate. It was good.
Yes.
And then we
Yeah,
went
it's
for a,
great to finally actually meet one of you guys in real life, not just via the intertubes.
That's true. You're the only person I haven't met in real life yet.
I know we were supposed to have met like several times by now, but
Yeah.
you didn't end up going to Copenhagen a couple years ago, and then I missed it when
Yeah.
you were on the .NET Rocks tour down here in Texas. And
Oh man, so John, I think I might have told you guys this already, but I was all excited because I was going to get to go to the Xamarin conference with John,
right?
and then like he quit his job at Trackabout, and like the last day was like 3 weeks before the conference, so I was like there all by myself. Yeah.
Aww.
Oh.
I went from being very excited about to not being so excited about it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
It's
So
been an
what's
insane couple of weeks. Holy cow.
so what's going on? Yeah, tell us, Chuck, because you almost always end up at the end. So now you're at the
Right.
beginning.
Yeah, I usually try not to speak up or insert myself, and we just get around to me when we get around to me. But anyway.
You got to use that angry voice like you do with your 4-year-old, like.
Don't touch the damn doorknob!
Chuck smash.
Yeah, so Monday I got a call from... Well, I went to lunch with a listener who came into town, and that was way fun. But then, as soon as lunch was over, I got a call from my merchant services account. I think you already told Derek this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this was.
So they call up and they go, so somebody's gotten a list of credit cards, and they're validating that they're real cards through your website.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And
not cool.
So I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? They're like, well, and they're trying to tell me, you need to shut it down because you're going to get charged every time that they push a credit card to, whether it declines or not. And I'm just sitting there going, crap, I want to shut it down because they're hurting other people with my stuff.
Right.
And most websites don't have any of this kind of security around their payment forms because 99 times out of 100, it's not going to be an issue.
Right.
So anyway, I'm like, all right, so what do I need to do? They're like, well, first of all, can we get permission to block your account? And I'm like,
No.
sure.
Okay.
To block your account from getting payment?
Yeah, but the thing is it's like $10 here and $10 there for foreign payments was all that was going through it. So
They should have said, okay, so what you can do is we'll show you how to sign up for Stripe.
yeah, so
Because we're an archaic dinosaur who can't handle this.
right.
On to you.
So they had that going on, and they're like, you need to put CAPTCHA forms on all of your payment forms.
Okay,
And I'm like,
that's easy
ugh.
enough.
Yeah, but I didn't really want to, but I was like, okay, well, I'll do that. So I went in, and I put the CAPTCHA forms on, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get this set up so that it's really easy to roll it to Stripe if I decide that that's the way I want to go.
Exactly.
So I did all that work, and then I got the CAPTCHA forms on there. The other reason was that so I had forms on there from Ontraport, and modifying Ontraport forms is you basically have to go in and use their little editor thing to edit them. The problem was I had set up all those forms on Office Autopilot, and then they had imported them to Ontraport, which meant that I couldn't edit them. And we're talking about like 25 forms, right?
Yeah.
That I have to go in and recreate and then turn CAPTCHA on. I'm like, forget that.
Wait,
So
what are these for? What are you collecting this money for?
It's for forum access for the forums for the different shows.
That makes sense. Why you're not using Stripe, because it's old stuff.
Yeah, and it'd been around for a while. So anyway, so I went in, I set it all up so it just worked through Stripe if that's the way I wanted to go, because I wasn't sure I wanted to go in and recreate the forms in Ontraport. And I wound up just going with Stripe in the end. And then I put the CAPTCHA forms on there because I didn't want to have the same problem with Stripe. Oh, chargeback, oh, failed, oh, whatever. So I got that all set up, and then I went back to him and I said, all right, I fixed it. Can you unblock my account? Now, remember, they asked for my permission to block the account. They said, we don't like the CAPTCHAs you put on there. So, no, you can't.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm like, listen.
You realize this is a competitive field of card transactions? You heard of this company called Stripe, PayPal, Square?
I'm like, look, I'm essentially revoking my permission. you know? So unblock
No
it.
take backs. No take backs.
I'm sorry, we can't do that. We just can't do that. And so in a fit of frustration, I emailed them back and I said, so then what do I have to do to cancel my account?
Yeah.
And I got an email back 5 minutes later that said, as per your request, we've canceled your account.
Are you serious? Really?
Oh,
Wow, that's better
man.
than Lead Pages customer service.
I know, right?
Yes,
So we can go there in a minute.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so I was like, oh crap, because the way that I collect sponsorship payments is I send them an invoice through Harvest, and then I had that hooked up to Authorize.net.
Oh no.
And I was
Oh,
like,
man.
oh crap, I can't get paid for sponsorship. So I go into Harvest and I'm just like, what am I going to do? And I click on their payment page and it says Stripe,
Yep. Just one click.
merchant account.
There you go.
And so I clicked the Stripe button and it just authorized it through their OAuth, and it said which account you want the payments to go through. And then the merchant account just disappeared. It was no longer an option to get paid because they don't want to have two credit card processors. So at this point I've just got to go cancel Authorize.net because I don't have a merchant account for them to use anymore. And this was the only thing that was keeping me in Entreport, so now I'm going to go cancel Entreport as well.
Nice.
But I started working on it at 1:30 in the afternoon a week ago Monday, and I finished at 6:30 in the morning Tuesday morning.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I was exhausted and frustrated, and yeah. So anyway, the company's name, I am not above public shaming, is TransFirst. If they try and set you up with a merchant account with TransFirst, tell them no.
Oh man, I love that. I love your story there about how it was like there's just like radio buttons, right? This is how hard it is for me to switch and say screw you for your bad customer service.
I
Click
don't
a radio
understand.
button.
That
I
was
don't
my
understand
only
it.
concern, and it was like
So-
boom, boom, done.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I have nothing else running through this account.
So
So merchant accounts have been like historically been a really like a huge pain for entrepreneurs,
yeah.
and we're kind of
Oh, I can tell you other stories. Yes.
we're spoiled now
Oh,
with
yeah.
like Stripe and DPD and other companies like that.
Yep.
PayPal even. It used to be. I mean, like they would shut down. They would just shut down people's businesses. Like
Oh yeah.
copywriters, you know, guys who were doing direct marketing, direct mail. Like you had to know somebody to get a merchant account. It was
Yeah.
really difficult. And
had to go
and
to my
they're
bank,
super conservative. They're like a bunch of accountants, and if they see anything unusual at all, they can just kill your account. So a lot of these guys would have 2, 3, 4 backup accounts. Sometimes they'd even have a system to rotate orders between different merchants so that
Yeah.
nobody was seeing $250,000 show up, you know, all in one day, because that would just freak them out,
Mhm.
and they would shut your account down with no warning. And then it
Well,
would
the
be
best part
weeks.
is, if you ever got your merchant account shut down, you were never allowed to open a new one again. You had to get the original merchant account cleared
Yeah.
through the
Like
the
AdWords.
original owner
Right.
in order to be able to open another merchant account anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So my other issues with them basically boiled down to if I got a payment for more than like $2 or $3 grand,
Mhm.
they would sit on it until they could get a hold of me and I could send them an invoice.
Oh
Mhm.
my gosh.
Oh.
And the
Like,
other
do
issue
they
was
not-
that
Are they not aware of Stripe? Like just like flows.
no, right?
Or even like
the
I
other
use
issue-
QuickBooks, and I
Yeah.
can do my invoicing through QuickBooks, and it's like
Right.
you know they process everything
Yep.
for me.
The other issue that I ran into was that, so let's say I got a $10,000 payment from a sponsor, I would get $10,000 in my account, and then sometime randomly during the next month they would come and take the fees out,
Yeah.
and so
That's
in the most inconvenient time, pretty much every month, I'd get dinged for like a $700 fees for everything that went through the account, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So, because with Stripe, it's like, yeah, just put in what I'm gonna get, and then
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
That's
Anyway,
funny.
I'm in love with Stripe.
Yep.
I'm more in love with Stripe.
It's so easy to take payment to today. Like I was gonna a quick side note. I've decided that if I go to your restaurant and you don't take credit cards, I'm not leaving a tip. That's my new thing because it's so easy to take credit cards now.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
If you don't take credit cards, you don't care about me.
McDonald's
Just
I
get
don't
a
take
freaking
credit
Square
cards.
dongle for heaven's sake.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
I can take credit card. I have 4 ways to take your credit card. I have a Square dongle, a PayPal dongle with my iPhone and Stripe.
Yep.
Like So anyway,
Well, you don't even need the dongle. You can, on your phone, type in the number and all the information on the card and charge it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just do not. It blows my mind whenever I go somewhere today, and they're like, "Oh, we don't take credit cards, only cash." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Are you like? Have you heard of the internet? Like, are you serious? Like, think about how much business you're walking away from you. Like,
Yeah.
how could you be a serious business owner and not take a credit card? Like, unless you're like, there's like a really legitimate reason, like you've got a huge line of people and you're like a hot dog vendor, and you're like, well, it takes too long to sign the card, so we just do these cash deals. But aside from that, it's just crazy. As I've been traveling around Europe, so many people are like, we don't take credit cards, and I'm just like, are you crazy? Like,
Welcome to the modern era.
yeah, like how much business are you just walking out the door because you can't like figure out how to take a credit card today?
Yeah, it's got to be much more common there than for people to carry cash. I mean, I lived in Europe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, so I mean it was different. But yeah,
I don't know if it's that much different because I get a regular
That's
number
only
of
that's
emails.
like 0.0001% of their history. So
I know, but
it's
all
like-
I'm saying is that a lot of times we had to go to the ATM and get cash.
Yeah, because I still get a regular number of emails from people in Europe saying, hey, I really want to sign up for Watch Me Code, but nobody in my country has credit cards. So I need to do PayPal. And I'm like, sorry, I frickin' hate PayPal for subscription services. I'm not going to... I would rather not take your money than deal with PayPal for subscription services. That's how much I don't like PayPal for subscriptions.
You should offer them to pay a year in advance
I've thought about doing that, actually.
via PayPal. Then it would be worth
just
it.
PayPal me the money for a year, but then, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, it is.
So
crazy.
while we're talking about companies that we now hate, Josh,
Oh my gosh.
Who's our anti-sponsor for this week? This
Yeah, our
episode of
anti-sponsor-
Entrepreneurs was not brought to you by.
Yes, Lead Pages. Leadpages.net, not leadpages.com, which actually confused me briefly.
Now let me preface this before you go into this.
Yeah.
Like I think that like this is like I'm normally against shaming companies, but but if you give a company like a chance and like you try like now it's like I'm going to appeal to people that are listening to this episode that after you hear Josh's story to email them and let them know that this is not good.
Yeah.
That you're upset
Yeah.
because this is just not good. So okay.
No.
Sorry.
So on last week's episode, I complained because Lead Pages had whacked me for like $400. I think it was like almost $400 for another year of their service, which I hadn't been using. I was happy with it for what it was, but I just hadn't been using it, and I was shifting to the copywriting direction and not doing products anymore. So I had intended to cancel it, and my review date rolled around, and they hit me for like another $400, and on their website they're like, we don't give refunds. So I was like, crap, I guess I'm just screwed. So I talked about it last week in relation to cutting expenses, I think, and you guys told me to go ahead and ask them. So I emailed them, and they said, no, sorry, we don't do refunds.
When
And
you asked
so-
them for a prorated, right?
For a
Like
prorated refund for the rest of the year, yeah, we're like a third of the way through
Yeah.
the year now.
And with the basis being that they had
had
auto
intended to
renewed you
cancel.
for a yearly subscription.
Yes, and they auto renewed me for a yearly subscription, and there was no warning,
Yeah.
And I can understand the business reasons for not warning people on that, but
Mhm.
if you're just gonna do that, then you need to be willing to refund the money.
Yeah. See, that's a valid. Like, either you warn people before you build them for a yearly renewal,
Right.
which I think you just do that because that's like, or you offer a refund at any
Yeah.
point, like per retroactive, like. 'Cause
Right.
It's just ridiculous. Like a monthly reminder, you don't have to remind someone every month because they know that they're getting dinged every month. But when you bill on a yearly basis, like if you don't send an email out before you bill someone for a year's worth of a thing, that's kind of sleazy. That's like bad.
Yeah. Well, it's such a big chunk of change. Like I'm with Perry Marshall's Mastermind Forum. I'm on a yearly subscription with that, and it's like $1,000. and so I know that's kind of gonna, I know I need to have $1,000 set aside for that because it's just a big, it's a big chunk of change. So yeah, so I emailed them and said I'd like a prorated refund, and they were like, sorry, we don't do refunds. So then I was gonna just like put that on Twitter, and John was like, no, don't do that. He's like, give them one more chance. So I emailed him back and basically said, hey, I've been a big supporter. I've talked about you guys a lot. I'm continuing to grow my marketing audience, and I linked to that was a good suggestion, John. I linked to my Smart Passive Income post and put Pat Flynn's name in there because he knows the founders.
Well, he is actually part of the company. He's
like on the board.
Yeah.
He's an advisor. So I mentioned him in his blog, and I was like, this is just not acceptable. And so they emailed me back, and they were basically like, well, sorry, our billing software will not allow us to refund you beyond, I think they said 3 weeks or something. Which
Welcome
is like,
to the modern era again.
Yeah, it was like
right?
We're using what is it, Transactor?
Yeah.
We can't move the beads on the abacus back the other way.
Yeah, they only go one way. So they're basically like, sorry, there's nothing we can do. And so I'll probably do something on Twitter just to follow through on my threat.
Back. I'll take a check.
I've paid Lead Pages $600 in the last 2 years just to use their lead boxes stuff, and I'm shutting it down. I'm going to delete my account because of the way that they're treating you.
Awesome.
I'm going to move all of my stuff over to King Sumo and use the King Sumo pop-ups instead of Lead Pages.
Oh, King Sumo is awesome anyway. So
it's not like Lead Pages is bad. Like the product is good.
Yeah, the product is
the
good.
price is a little high for what it is, but still, it's
high.
worth it if you're using it. Like it's
right.
It's just the customers. Like it's so silly to especially like. And here's the thing: is why I prefaced it is because I'm totally against shaming companies on the internet when something goes. Like all these people are like, "Oh, American Airlines lost my bag," and they tweet that, and it's like, well, come on,
crap happens.
Like first you give them a chance, right? And that's why it's like, okay, you give them a chance to make it right.
Right.
And that's just like courtesy. And then if they choose not to make it right, then you've got to do something so that they realize that this is not how you treat customers. But what is stupid about this? What is stupid is when you tell them, I have an audience of thousands of people that, and I'm giving you a chance. Like that's just stupid. Like $400. Let's see. Should we give $400 or have like bad prep? Like
yeah. Well, it's okay. I've only got 10,000 Twitter followers. And Derek, if you don't mind, I'm gonna cancel. I think my tweets will be about you canceling your account.
Totally.
And I'll copy you and Lead Pages on it.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's begun. I got one person to cancel already.
Yep. So, but a quick funny story. So my aunt works in a hospital. She's in PR in a hospital.
Wait. Hold on.
What?
Okay. I'm on the Lead Pages website right now.
Okay.
I just clicked delete my account.
Okay, and then
guess what I have
call
to do?
Phone number.
Yes, I have to call a frickin' phone number to delete my account.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
so
you gotta be kidding me.
The other day,
Screw you, Lead Pages.
The other day, I had signed up for Stamps.com, and
I did that years ago. What a waste.
Yeah, they because I am gonna
PayPal multi-order shipping.
Well, but see, no, I'm gonna be using direct mail for my business to market myself. So that's what I was kind of thinking of it for. But but it was actually kind of fun because I had to call their number to cancel, and it was actually kind of fun because she found 5 different. Just for me as like a marketer, she found like 5 different ways to try to keep me, and it was like first she was like, I'm going to downgrade you to another thing, and then I'm going to give you a free month. I can't remember all the sequence, but she was like, and it was like this assumptive close every time, and I just kept saying, no, it's okay. I think I'll go ahead and close my account now.
Yeah.
And then finally she was like, okay, I'll close your account. That'll close next month after we rebill you for the coming. Like you have to cancel. They make you cancel ahead like a month ahead, like a gym or something.
Yeah.
So they ding you for one more month, even if they can't keep you. It's just like, oh my gosh, that's so.
I know
It's
how
so
to reverse
sleazy.
the charges.
Oh my gosh.
You just call
So,
your
but-
banker.
Anyway, so my aunt works at a hospital. She's the PR director, I think, at a hospital, and it's really hysterical because she spends most of her time fighting fires started by ignorant staff people
Yeah.
who are picking fights with patients, not realizing that the patients can instantly tweet or Facebook their experience. And so she's like, she was the other week. She had this battle with this woman up on like the 3rd floor, and she's unhappy with some of the service that she was getting from her nurses, and the nurses were like, kind of yelling at her. So then she tweets it, and then the hospital administration, their solution is, well, can we shut off internet on the 3rd floor?
Oh my
Oh,
god. That's it. It's like then if someone finds that out, right, then it's worse.
Then
like,
it's just worse. The cover-up
yeah.
is worse than the crime. So
Yes.
yeah, it was just So companies need to get a grip.
Seriously.
Yeah, especially like at least be smart, right? I'm not saying like, well, I mean, good customer service is
You pretty
important.
much just always give the customer their money back.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
almost no matter what.
unless they're
never
repeating or ripping you off, right?
Yeah.
Like let's
If they're a
let
repeat
someone rip
offender,
you off
I'm not going to
once.
sell to him anyways.
Yeah, let
Yeah.
someone even rip you off once. That's fine,
Yeah,
right?
well,
Someone rip
and
you off
one
once,
thing that
fine.
one thing that we don't think much about, but is actually a legitimate potential problem, is if you're advertising, the FTC can come after you,
Mhm.
right? So I mean, if you refuse a refund to somebody, the FTC can come after you and make your life miserable. And we don't, at our scale, we don't have to deal with that much. But when you get to a bigger scale and you've got more money coming in the door,
Mhm.
then that's something you have to start to worry about.
Right. And as long as you're willing to give back money when you then you don't
just
even
give
really
them
have
their
to.
freaking money back.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, and it's just important to treat people nicely, right? Good customer service, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like all the people that ever email me, I'm like, and let me see, is there anything else I can do to help you? Like, it's just like general, right? That's how you respond to people, right? Just good customer service. But aside from just good customer service, how about just plain stupidity? Like, at least look someone up. Like at least
Right.
if the lead pages tech support person, like probably they're low level support, idiot, maybe they don't have any power or whatever. If they just like Googled your name, Josh, or like or checked out that article that you clicked, like just they should have a policy that's like, okay, make sure this person isn't like running for president or something like that. You know what I mean? Like or a congressman or or whatever.
Donald Trump wants to cancel his Lead Pages account. Just
Right.
let him cancel it.
Like you should at least check those things, right? Like that's just a basic. Even if you're a sleazeball, you shouldn't be stupid. Like being a sleazeball is like doing the kind of rip-off stuff, like you got to wait another month before you cancel your account and all that crap, and making it like people jump through hoops and not giving their money back. But being stupid, like being a sleazeball and then being stupid, that's like to me that I can understand the one, right? I can be like, okay,
Right.
sure, yeah, I don't like it, but that's fine. But being stupid to me is an unforgivable crime. Like. That is too much. It's like, can you not just Google a person and see that this person has influence? So you shouldn't like. I know a lot of people don't like clout, but that's a fucking easy way to see. Just look up their clout score and be like, oh, hey, this person is not a nobody. Like this is someone that could tweet something and damage my reputation. It just stupidity kills me. That's the thing that like.
Yeah.
I can understand the bad customer service, but the stupidity, I can't understand that.
Yeah, I had a similar experience with a VA company several years ago, and I mentioned it on my shows, and I had probably 100 people over the next year or so saying, I was looking at hiring a VA, and I didn't even consider that company. I'm not going to publicly shame them because I have already gotten way more money out of it. I have lost them way more money than they. Yeah, they're like, I didn't even consider them because of your experience. And the thing is I was just, my feeling is I wasn't out to like get even.
No.
I was out there to say, hey, look, folks, if you're looking for a VA, don't do what I did because it hurt.
Yeah.
And it's like, crap. And yeah, it's stupid for them, but I'm not trying to punish them. I'm just trying to warn people away.
Mhm.
It's like what's the oh gosh, I can't remember his name now. The guy that wrote the book Anti-Fragile. Oh, I can't remember his name, but
I got Google right in front of me. I bet I can figure it out in
yeah,
about
but
2
you could
seconds.
But he said in his book, he was like, if you see fraud and don't cry fraud, you are a fraud.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very powerful thing that he said in the book, because it's so true. It's like,
Is that like
that's what it's really about.
Nassam Taleb or something like that? I don't know how
Yeah.
you pronounce it, but yeah.
Nicholas Taleb.
Yeah, he wrote like Black
Swan. Yep.
Random Walk, and
Yeah.
but yeah, if you see fraud and you don't cry fraud, you are a fraud, and that's like so true. It's like, it's not like it's vengeance. It's not even like this thing with lead pages. It's like more like, man, like you got a chance, like you warned him, Josh, and now it's just plain stupidity. And it's like, okay, well now it's like you're almost morally obligated to say something, because you can't promote this anymore, and you can't not share this experience, because hey, this, they had a chance to do it right. They had a chance to even just recognize that you could hurt them, and they still ignored that. So okay, well.
Yep. Well, and you kind of warned them, so I feel like you have to follow through at this point.
Yeah.
It's kind of like dealing with 2-year-olds. They won't get it unless you follow through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Unless you slam that door right back in their face.
I make that a policy with my kids and pretty much everything else I do. Don't make idle threats. If you make a threat, you better follow through with it. Otherwise, it becomes an idle threat, and nobody will listen to you anyways.
Yeah.
There was a story about this, I saw this kid that he was watching some sheep, and then he was like he would say like there would be like he would pretend like there was a wolf coming.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the story, John. Could you...
Oh really? Yeah.
Gee, yeah.
It was this thing I saw. Yeah.
Right, I read it on the
This
internet.
kid. Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, I'll veer back into the rest of my week. But I went to Podcast Movement Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Nice.
Of course, Thursday and Monday were mostly travel days and stuff. But it was kind of funny because I let people know I was flying in on Thursday and flying out on Monday. So I pretty much went and had dinner with people every night and breakfast with people every morning.
Nice.
Oh man.
Who weren't attending the conference.
Wow.
Which was really awesome. I guess some of the breakfasts didn't happen, but yeah. So Thursday night, a bunch of folks who listen to my shows, we all went and had Texas barbecue. So good. Yeah, I walked out of there kind of sick because I'd eaten so much meat. But yeah,
Which
so
restaurant?
Friday night, it was something in Fort Worth. I don't remember, Cooper's Barbecue or something like that.
Okay, I think that's right. That sounds familiar.
But they have a big pit that they cook the barbecue in, and you kind of say, I want some of that and some of that and some of that, and then they put it on your plate, and yeah, it was really good. But yeah, Friday, I don't remember who I went to dinner with on Friday or Saturday. But yeah, I met up with people like every evening. Sunday evening, I went to dinner with Derek.
Some jerk from Waco.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah. And then Monday morning, I went to breakfast with another guy from my other mastermind. So, and I met a whole bunch of people. I harassed John Lee Dumas and
Nice.
Ran into Pat Flynn about 3 times, and we just chatted for a little bit. Had a really good talk with Kate Erickson, who's John's kind of partner on Entrepreneur on Fire. And just made a ton of great contacts. When I was getting ready to go to breakfast with Butch on Monday, I've gotten to know the conference organizers, and so they actually introduced me to Jamie Tardy, eventualmillionaire.com.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to her show, it is terrific. She interviews millionaires, and the whole premise is that she eventually wants to be a millionaire, and so she's talking to millionaires to figure out how to be a millionaire, which makes a lot of sense to me.
She's got to talk to billionaires.
Yeah. So
She'd be
anyway,
a hundredaire. No.
and then one of my mentors was there, Aaron Walker, and he introduced me to a whole bunch of people, and it was just fantastic. So
awesome. So it sounds like it was worth it because you were thinking about maybe not going, right?
Yeah, totally worth it.
Mhm.
Totally worth it. I picked up a few tips. I only went to like 3 sessions, but they were the ones that I really needed to be in, so it was really good. And then some of the keynotes were also really excellent. I think my favorite one, they had a keynote by the journalist who put together Serial, the podcast.
Oh
Serial.
yeah.
And so she talked about her experience with all of that and how it went viral and what they think made some of the difference. And anyway, it was really, really fascinating. They didn't allow the conference or the attendees to record the keynote, so I don't know if anyone will see it after it happened. And I think that was an NPR or WNYC or whoever
Right.
I think it's their thing, not her thing. Because she seemed pretty cool with everything, but yeah.
Chuck was there with his cell phone.
That's right. I had to hide it every time security walked by. But
Yeah.
Google glasses.
there you go.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous that today, like, people are like, no recording or no photos. Like, do you know how small, like, a pinhole camera? Like, it's just, come on.
Yeah.
I know. Well, and how many people have a recording device in their pocket in there? Like 90%.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like, it's just, let's not fight this battle anymore because if you're in public, there's no expectation of privacy.
Yeah,
Like,
personally, I
no
want
expectation.
all of my talks to be recorded and put on the internet so that I never have to do that talk again.
I want mine mashed
Well-
up. Like, I want
I think
someone to
the
mash
auto-tune-
mine with that one with the do it.
I think the thing is that I think they were concerned because she was talking about this murder case that she might say something that might infer or imply that she had an opinion one way or the other as to who did it or whatever, and they were afraid that she was going to open them up to liability by saying something that could go that way. So by keeping recordings out of there, and she didn't. She I think she still came to the conclusion that we really still don't know what happened, but anyway, it was really, really interesting. And then this week I've connected with a few people. I was actually sick on Tuesday and Wednesday, and so I'm a little behind on releasing
conference
Rails Geeks videos.
crash.
Yeah. Well, it was
meat.
the symptoms I get when I eat milk or have something with milk in it.
Ah,
So I think it was legitimate allergic reaction, sick,
It's because you
lactose.
ate so many cows that
Yes.
you actually like.
That's
you got
right.
secondhand milk.
Yep. But,
so the
yeah.
the restaurant that I took Chuck to in Fort Worth, it's this classic Texas restaurant called H3 Ranch in Fort Worth. Phenomenal restaurant, love the place.
So good.
And we sat underneath of these 3 American bison stuffed heads on the front on the wall. But there's 2 parts to this restaurant. There's the restaurant part that we were in, then there's the bar part on the other side. And around the other side, and right there on the big glass mirror of the bar, is the back half of one of the buffaloes.
Nice.
It's pretty awesome.
It's a good thing buffaloes aren't cute looking.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have something I do want to run by you guys. This morning I had a conversation with Julie Schaefer over at Chef, and she's the one that manages all of their training. So she does their courses, their online courses, their in-person courses, their in-person training at companies, blah, 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 blah. And she gave me a whole bunch of ideas about just putting together my own courses. I've been reaching out to companies, but they either have a handle on their testing or the sales cycle is just too long for me to get in and do the kind of training that we were talking about a few weeks ago.
Right.
So I'm thinking about just putting together my own training course for 2 or 3 days and doing that online
Yep.
and seeing if I can sell tickets. I want to finesse the curriculum a little bit more, and so what I'm considering doing is letting people know that they can get into the course for the first and maybe the second round for a discount. I mean, they're charging like $1,000 per seat for their online training. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, look, this is a beta test. I'm going to give you a 50% discount for the first 2, and then I'm going to raise the price. And so if you want to get in on those, then go sign up, and then I'll fill 20 seats. So $500, 20 seats. There's my 10 grand.
Why not just sell? Like, I mean, the amount of work that you're going to do is probably going to be close to the same as just packaging a course and selling it. And like if you need the interactive aspect of it, like you could combine it. So you could create like a base curriculum and sell it as like a series of video courses, but then you could have it so that so you have like a live session as well as a Q&A, but the only thing you do live is like this 1 or 2 hour Q&A, but the rest of the stuff is a package thing that you could sell,
Right.
and then you could sell a bonus on top, rather than, because what sucks is to do like build a classroom training that you're going to present online and then do all that work, and then every time you have to give it in order to get paid.
Yeah, that's true.
And advertise it.
I would suggest doing it live the first time and just recording it.
Oh, okay.
And then just repackage that and do what John's suggesting and do, have a live component, but make that, make the bulk of the teaching happen.
So do I charge less then for the pre-recorded blah 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 plus maybe one live session?
Well, here's the thing though.
I don't think so.
If you record the live session though, like the first time, it's not going to be as high quality as if you just like create something and edit it and like you know what I mean.
But if
like
I do the live session, I can go back and re-record it and clean it up.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, and if you're also getting interaction with students, like that can be more valuable. So the copywriting course I just went through was the teaching was done. John Carlton did it in front of a live audience at a seminar, and he recorded the whole thing. And actually, the most valuable stuff that I got out of that was the back and forth between him and the students, them asking questions and seeing also how they implemented what he was telling them to do. So it was a workshop. So if you can incorporate some of that, then I would say the live format's actually better than the super polished video, and it's certainly a lot easier to create.
I guess that's true if your content is more on the theoretical than on the practical. Like, I mean, if you're doing a tutorial and showing someone how to implement something in Ruby, you're better off not doing that in a live, like, because you can cut it. I mean, Derek could attest to this. It's like you record like an hour video and you cut it down to 20 minutes because you don't want to make someone sit through an hour worth of what it would take you live, right?
Right.
But if it's theoretical, like you said, where it's dialogue based, and then I would agree more so, because then it's going to be natural for the conversation. But
you can have pre-canned examples to use in your live stuff as well.
Yeah.
I mean, just like you would do at a conference where you're giving a talk, where you have stuff that's pre-canned and ready to go, and if you can lead people in a general direction down a path, then you can have examples set up for those paths.
True.
Right. Yeah, I definitely teach more by example than I do by like here are the slides and here are the things. The flip side is that I can use something like Crowdcast or something, so I can get Q&A during the call, and then I can just incorporate it more or less seamlessly in there. So hey, somebody asked this. Here's your answer. And then, I can just make those the videos, because it does feel natural, and I can let people know ahead of time. I recorded this, and I had people watching, and they could ask questions. So.
And I'll tell them to shut the hell up, because I'm not.
Don't touch my doorknob! Dang it!
It's called watch me code, not question me while I'm coding.
Yeah, but I need to go see what other courses are selling for.
Yeah.
Then at that level. But if I can sell enough spots, and I may still say, look, I'm beta testing this. You're getting a decent discount on it, but you've got to sign up today, and that way I can get the money.
Well, and you can also sell the benefit of like, this is going to be live, right? You're going to have access to me live, and then in the future I'm going to raise the price, and you won't have access to me live.
Right.
So you've got some good scarcity built into that.
Yep. That makes sense. And then, I'm trying to decide how much I should limit the space, or if I should just let as many people sign up as want to sign up.
Limit it, and here's why. Yeah. Because limiting it will allow you to make it more exclusive.
Right.
Well, I mean, you're probably not going to have like hundreds of people sign up, but if you say there are 10 slots or there are 20 slots, I think that's going to be better for getting the slots filled. So pick the amount that you think will get filled, and then limit it to that. And then that'll make it much more likely that it will get filled.
Yeah, and I would definitely play that up too. And the thing it lets you do is it lets you say, this sold out. you know.
Yeah.
And I would even, I mean, make it so that it's a slam dunk to sell it out, whatever. Because being able to sell this, being able to say this sold out,
Yeah.
is super valuable. You know, next
Yeah,
time you
that's
come
true.
around to it, versus like, you know, if only 9 people buy out of your 10 slots, then
Mhm.
you know, you lose all of that. So make the price and the limit low enough that it
Right.
sells out instantly if you can. Like, you know, if you can say this sold out in 13 minutes,
Right.
you know, like that
Mhm.
gives you a pretty nice lever later.
Oh, one of my
Yeah.
seats sold out.
Yeah.
One of my
I'm
seats sold
over-
out.
I mean,
Yeah.
hey, I mean,
Yeah.
you can say that. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I've
Yeah.
got 2 slots. You know, make 2 slots. I've thought about doing this for like having like a call-in day or something where I have like, you know, just have like a consulting 15-minute or 30-minute slot, and
Yeah.
I would probably only make 2 of them available the first time, and I would probably only charge like $100. So next time I could put 5 out there and say, hey, these went in. You know, last time I did this, everything was gone in 7 minutes or whatever.
Mhm.
Everybody likes a winner.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think I'm definitely gonna go that way and see what it is. I need to go check pricing and just see how I compare what I want to do with what other people are doing, so that I'm, you know, the thing is that I've gotten the advice from several people that if you go and you price around, so let's say that all of these folks are charging like $200 bucks, you know, for their online course. You know, that I should charge $250, so I'm the premium option.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just make sure that I am hitting that level of delivery so that it's, you know, they come out of it
Yeah.
going, yeah, that was a premium option.
I would agree. I mean, for something like this, I don't think people are price shopping it either. Right?
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
no one is like, oh, look, this person offers
There's
something. and
no
this
other
person does.
Chuck, right? There's no
Yeah.
other
Yeah, and
There's
that's the thing
no
is
Chuck
that I
clone
can,
walking around.
yeah, I can go on Ruby Rogues and say, hey, I've been teaching people this for a while. I kind of want to formalize it in some videos, and you get to learn it from me. You get to learn how I do it.
Right. And I'll yell at you if you do it wrong.
That's right. If you come in my office when I'm starting a call, I will yell at you.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would suggest is do not create any of the material. Sell it first. Because like send out the thing, start announcing it, and then and just make it far enough in the future that you have time to create the material. And there'll be 2 benefits to that. One, of course, will be that you won't waste your time if no one buys it. And then 2, the second one will be that it'll force you to get it done, because then you'll have
Right.
it'll give you a deadline. So
Right.
Well-
And the third benefit is you can actually talk to people who sign up.
true,
Yes.
and see what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you that the testing stuff. I mean, I've done the training like 3 or 4 times, so I have it outlined. You know, I would just, you know, maybe put together a few more slides or better examples or something. You know, I might look at those and say, okay, is there something I should do a little bit better here? But the APIs, I want to do an APIs course in Rails, but I'm doing that. I'm doing those videos right now for Rails clips, and so then it'll just be a matter of, okay, what pieces of this do I need to include here to show people what to do?
Oh, one other thing, find your kind of the biggest person that you know, like from maybe one of your Ruby conferences or from Ruby Rogues that has the biggest audience, and get them to do an interview or like a small lesson in
webinar.
part of your course.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because that'll help you draw their audience as well and give you more credibility.
Yeah, that makes sense. I should totally do that.
DHH,
Or do a couple
man.
of webinars and then do a sale, you know, sell people at the end.
DHH can come on and talk about racing cars or something.
Yeah, you will actually race a car live, and
Yes.
while Chuck is teaching him how to write better tests.
Yeah, you guys can run the you can run the,
DHH said TDD was dead, so
all right. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. That's
we
true.
could hold the TDD
Well, maybe
funeral.
you could load his car up with some untested Ruby software, and that could it could be a self-driving car with untested Ruby software running the whole thing.
I like it.
Totally.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Oh, and if you guys haven't looked, go have a look at railsclips.com.
Okay.
That conversation we had about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you will find a lot of what you recommended there in the page.
Yay!
Chrome is warning
Hey,
you
look,
that the
big
site is
subscribe
infected
button
with
up top.
spyware.
Woo!
Subscribe. I like it.
Yes.
Oh,
There
and the
we go.
locks. Yep, I like that. That's
Mm.
awesome. Oh, and then it pops up to subscribe. Man, it even says it in Dutch. Nice. On mine, at
Oh,
least.
that's right, because you're in Netherlands.
It's got the captcha in Dutch.
Oh, nice.
Ik ben geen robot.
I am not a robot.
Nice. John, is the captcha like 47 letters long?
You know, Dutch is not as crazy as German. It's
Okay, alright.
like German is like, oh, we'll take all these words and put them together and make them super long. Dutch
Yeah.
Dutch is like in between German and US.
Okay.
Not US. Oh yeah, I speak US. And English. It's between the two.
Yeah, and those are the captchas that my merchant account didn't like. And the reason is because if you check the box,
Mhm.
if I check the box and I'm signed in on the same account that CAPTCHA is on because I'm signed in on Google. So it just lets me through. But if one of you guys clicked it and it didn't recognize you if you're in an incognito window or something, it actually pops up like 9 pictures and it says, which of these has pizza in it?
Yeah,
Which is kind of cool.
this is the
Yeah.
Google CAPTCHA.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the most sophisticated CAPTCHA right now. Like, it doesn't
Right.
make sense. Like, this is like the standard, like the best you could do right now.
Yeah. But she's like, well, they have macros that check that box. And I'm like,
Oh my
that's
god.
fine.
Clearly, you
Yeah.
don't know how this stuff works.
No.
Oh,
in fact,
I went through that
Yeah.
with them. I was like, you let me explain to you how this works.
it
No,
tracks
we
your
can't
mouse.
do it.
It
Look,
tracks
I'm
your
the technologist here.
That's great.
Oh gosh.
Anyway.
Hey, quick question, Josh.
Yeah.
I've got SumoMe on my site. I've had it for a long time, and I paid the
Okay.
$5 or whatever to get rid of that little badge.
Yep.
How do I find my settings in store to actually get back into SumoMe now?
You know, I haven't hid that before.
When I hit it, they made it. They made the thing so that you can't get to the store without that button or without knowing the super secret URL. And
yeah.
I don't know the super secret URL.
Well, you might be able to go into WordPress, and there's are you on WordPress? Yes.
I'm sitting on it. There is no mention anywhere of any possible way to get to the SumoMe settings.
I'm looking at
At
this
all.
now here. I was actually wondering that myself. And okay, so yeah, see on my site when I come in here, it shows up when the badge shows up when I'm in admin mode, but
Right. Not for me.
yeah, because you hit it. I don't know. Sorry.
I ran into that problem. a long
Google
time
is failing me too. I'm searching for, hide SumoMe, and it's pulling up the article on how I can buy the SumoMe thing, but
Yeah.
Email support,
There-
but they don't do partial refunds on your free account.
yes.
Tell them you're billing them for your time.
Do you know what the URL, Derek? I'm wondering if the URL is just as simple as your site ID.
I don't know.
Does SumoMe work with Drip?
No.
Not yet, but they're working on it. They're working on it as we speak. I
'Cause
talked
I'm in
to.
love with Drip too.
Yeah, I emailed Noah when Drip added the feature that we had asked about to be able to resend, because I got that idea originally from
Mhm.
Noah, because he just was doing that manually
Oh yeah, I saw this
to
email.
resend to everyone who hasn't opened your email. So I forwarded Rob's announcement email to Noah, and then Noah said, "Yeah, we're working on integrating Drip right now." So.
Nice.
And I also told Rob, I asked Rob to work with them to try to get them to send over the time zone as well, so that you can capture like the locale of the user,
Right.
not just the raw email address. Because that would be, for me, that's important with Desk Hacks, because that course supposed to go out at 6 a.m. local time, so that people get it at the start of their workday.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot
Except
like
for
most,
programmers who get it at like 4 hours before the start of their workday.
yeah. True, yeah. Yeah, sorry, Derek, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm emailing their support right now.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
Right.
yeah, so that's what I've got that's what I've got going on. I got my website up for Angular Remote Conf, so
Nice.
if any listeners use Angular and want to speak or want to attend, you can go buy tickets or submit a call for proposals now. So,
Right now.
Right now.
Yep.
I did put early bird tickets in just to see if that makes a difference, because I didn't do that with Ruby Remote Conf, and so people were kind of scrambling to buy them at the end, but I don't know if I lost people or anything by not having it. I like being able to have 2 targets to sell people on. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, having extra scarcity is always a good thing.
Yep. So I know the tickets are a bunch cheaper, but
Yeah, I think
I want more people there, and that's a little more important to me anyway. So
yeah, I think
Yeah.
having the urgency. I mean, you're always going to get. I mean, just think about how hard it is with Derek's stuff to sell Watch Me Code when he's got no urgency, right? So,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, anything you can do to ratchet that up.
yeah, and I'm thinking about doing a launch for Rails Clips where I do like some extra webinars or something if people sign up by a certain date, and create a little bit of scarcity there. Hey, look, you're not going to get these bonuses because I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I saw a good urgency, an interesting thing. I got the just effing ship it course
Oh yeah. Hmm.
with that package that had authority and that Christmas thing and then I got an email today from or not today but like last week from Amy saying that wait a minute, is it Amy?
Yeah, Amy Hoy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get her mixed up with the other one. But anyway, it was like she added more content to the book, and then gave me a thing that I could get like a $19 discount or get it for $19. I can't remember. It was either upgrade for $19 or $19 discount. But I thought, okay, that's a pretty smart way to do this because you just like add some extra content to something you already created, and then like you can sell it to you can now sell the entire thing for a higher price, and then for your customers that have already bought it, you can give them like it's an almost no-brainer deal. Like I would have totally bought it, except that if I was actually interested in shipping things, like if I had to ship something, like I didn't buy the thing because of the book. I bought the package because of Authority and the other because it was cheaper than Authority by itself. But if I were, I would have certainly like jumped all over that. But pretty interesting.
I bought the upgrade.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah. Oh, you had.
Yeah, it was $20. I already had the book, the just effing ship, and all of the extra stuff. The way she described it were things that I was thinking about anyway, and so I wanted to get her thoughts on those things.
Yeah.
The extra stuff. So.
And that was, by the way, that book was the book that I'm going to claim that she stole it from us. Nathan Barry stole it from us. Because we were the first ones to have the 24-hour challenge. That was us. So no one else started doing that until we did that, and then that
predates the original one predates the show here.
The original what? Our 24-hour challenge?
Yeah, the first one.
The show. Yeah. So people don't even know. We don't even have witnesses, except for our blog post. Remember, because we had the blog post, because that was what launched How to Market Yourself as a Software Developer. That contest.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
Which now I've made $140,000 from. So.
Yay!
Nice.
I mean, boo! Evil capitalism.
There we go.
So what do you guys have going on? I took up a whole hour because I was out for 2 weeks.
I figured out how to get Sumo Me.
Oh, sweet. How do you do it?
Disable Privacy Badger.
Oh,
Okay.
so is that like that was not a Sumo Me issue? It sounds like.
No, yeah, that was. I had private. I used Privacy Badger and AdBlock Plus, and I didn't realize that I had Privacy Badger running when I was on my own website.
Okay.
So I disabled Privacy Badger, and oh look, it suddenly works.
You gimped yourself.
Yep.
But I've got a fairly short update. I think I got the first guest posts on Simple Programmer that
yeah, I
going
saw
through my
that.
editorial. So
Yep.
2 of them went out this week. So that means like 4 total blog posts went out on Simple Programmer this week.
So basically, John published 2 guest posts and then said, "Don't talk to me."
Exactly.
His third post.
Yeah, that's true.
Detecting a shift in the tone here, John.
I did this post on 7 things your boss doesn't understand about software development, and that one went pretty good. I think that went. It didn't go like super viral, but it got shared around a lot. If I didn't have number 7, business analysts and project managers don't do shit, then it probably would have gotten shared more. But I'm keeping it real. So.
Oh man.
But that's good because like
See,
now.
I think that the role. Do you think the roles are needed? Or I think the roles are needed, but that they often don't get filled in a way that's helpful.
Yeah, I think today though with agile environments that really product owner and scrum master fill those roles better. Like you don't really need those roles if you have a good product owner and scrum master because those in an agile team that is getting requirements from the investment. There's exceptions of course, but in general, like in most of my work experience, people in those roles are just idiots. What can I say? Like
They couldn't make it in QA, right?
now you're
at
getting me in
programming.
big trouble.
Failed at QA.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of. Yeah, I guess I would say that and a lot. That's not everyone, right? I mean, I can't say it's everyone.
You heard it
but-
here. John Sonmez says.
We need bigger walls to keep them out. All right. But anyway, so that's good. Like it was a little bit of a problem because my editor and my VA were not quite getting along.
Oh man.
So it was just like, come on, guys, come on, can you work together? And then I think we figured out how to get it going, and so it's I think it's smooth out now. The posts are coming out. We've got writers that are going to be writing. The first post that came out had a lot of code in it, and it was like putting embed codes in WordPress is just like, especially if you're not a developer. So finally I was like, okay, let's just use gist. So now if you write an author for Simple Programmer, you write gist and you put the gist in line, and then that is how we do it because it's simple that way. And I've got a gist plugin.
Short codes are amazing on that. That's all I ever do.
And I'm assuming it's SEOable, right? Because like the code that's in the gist gets SEO'd by your because Google
sort of. I don't know.
It's
So
loading
something
on.
that I'm running into with this is that when I do Rails clips, it's actually in a repo. It's not in a gist. Is there a good way do I have to just copy and paste the files into gists to get them to embed, or I found a little app on Heroku that would create sort of an embeddable gist thing on my website, but I don't know anything about it, and it looks kind of scary.
You can embed a gist directly from the gist website. It's like copy and paste a line of code.
But
and
can
you're
I
done.
embed a file out of a repo?
Yeah, can you take
No.
lines 23 through 49 from home.rb?
Really? That seems like that should be a GitHub feature. Like that makes.
One thing that would be
Nice.
awkward about that would be you'd have to mess with. I mean, you'd probably get all the formatting, right? So
Yeah.
if your formatting is if you're in a class and you're indented over several tabs, then that would look weird in the blog post.
Yeah, I may just have to copy and paste the files into gists and then embed the gists.
And
Well,
one thing
the larger problem is that the files are easily changing a lot in a repository. So you would have to embed a specific revision of a specific file.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, but on my demo stuff, I mean, I just do it once and then whatever.
Yeah.
And then for the next episode, if I'm gonna edit that project further, I actually just copy it to a new repo and go.
Right.
So it's less
You
issue
can-
for me that way. But
So with I imagine there might be stuff with Vim that does this as well, but there are plugins for Sublime that let you create gists directly from Sublime, create, edit,
Right.
manage. So that might be a relatively painless way for you to do that.
yeah.
But yeah, it's I should be getting up there now in the next month. I should have 5 posts a week that are guest posts.
Wow.
So then I'll have my
Awesome.
posts, and I'll have the
Here
YouTube
comes the
videos.
hockey stick.
Yeah, I'm thinking I should. I mean, my goal is to hit 1 million page views a month, and I think I will get there in less than a year. The other goal of this too is just to make it so that, I'm trying to make it so that I am not in the business, like critical to the business anymore. So, I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm never going to write blog posts or do
Right.
podcasts, but I want to make it so that Simple Programmer can run without me, that Get Up and Code can run without me. I was going to ask you about this, Chuck. The other thing I'm doing is next week I'll be recording the first panel episode of Get Up and Code. So what I've got actually is Eric, who's editing our
Hi, Eric.
I'm paying him to also to basically be my Get Up and Code panel organizer guy. So he'll be in charge of the Google group, and every Monday or so he'll send out an email that basically says, "Hey, who's going to be on the panel on Friday?" It records every Friday at 2:30 Eastern Time, so standard time. And then he figures out who's going to be there, and then he starts the Skype call, invites everyone, records it using the Skype recorder, and then uploads it to my VA, who will edit and publish it. Is that a good process? Am I missing something here?
That's more or less what we do, except for I'm the one that initiates the call and does the recording and then sends it over. And I'm also recording into an external recorder, but call recorder works fine. The only downsides to that is that sometimes Skype gets all garbled or has other connection issues, or people are on the wrong mic. You can't really, I guess you can't account for Skype. That'll happen anywhere. But yeah, and as long as you're on a consistent schedule, you make sure it shows up on those folks' calendars. So send them calendar invites.
Oh yeah, calendar invites. Yeah.
You should be fine. There were a couple. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Chuck? Do you have any kind of like expectation? Like, if you say yes to this, you're expected to be there 2 out of the 4 weeks of the month. So it's not like whenever I feel like it, every 12 weeks I pop in, or.
Yeah. So this is something that I was thinking about at Podcast Movement. I had this. I spent a lot of time thinking about why I'm doing what I'm doing and what I want to get out of it and things like that. And so I'm changing the directions of things a little bit. You probably won't notice a big difference in the shows, but the focus is going to be, for me, I like doing the shows because I like to learn. I want to learn something. I'm not about, oh, well, am I producing a good show that everyone's going to like? That's kind of a secondary thing for me. I want to enjoy being there. And then the other thing is with the hosts, I'm actually going to say, look, if you want to be a host on these shows, then here are the expectations. So you've got to spend at least a half hour every week doing prep for the show. We're going to send out a notice. We've been sending out notices on. Mandy's been sending them on Sunday to the panel and the guest and saying, hey, look, here's what we're talking about, blah blah blah. Are there things that we should look into? And we can kind of start that discussion. And I told her to move that up. So now they go out about a week before we record. So we record on Tuesdays for 3 of my shows, and those 3 shows get emails out on Wednesday.
Okay.
And it's, hey, look, we're prepping. Here's what we're talking about. Let's get some talking points. Let's make sure we understand the topic. Let's make sure we're going to get what we want out of the show. And yeah, I'm going to be putting together some guidelines like, hey, look, if you're not showing up, fairly frequently, then I'm going to find somebody else.
Can you send me your guidelines?
I haven't written them yet, but I'm going to.
Because I can steal them then.
Yeah, but basically there are like 3 parts to this, and one is, look, this is what I want the shows to provide.
Yeah.
This is the why. Okay, so I need to be learning something. It has to be fun. If we do something on something else that somebody else wants to learn, I'm fine with that, even if I'm not excited about it. But somebody's got to be on there going, "This is awesome." Okay, right. And that's going to pull the energy up. That's going to make it a great show. And then the second thing is the host guidelines, and then the third thing I'm going to pull together is I'm going to put together systems documents for how we do everything.
Yep.
And that way it's, okay, here's how we edit the shows, here's how we, after we record, then we put it here, then it goes here, then it does this, these people do this, blah, 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 blah. Here's how we want our transcripts to look, here's how we want our show notes to look, here's how we want, and that way it's we have these guidelines for these things, and we just understand this is how it has to be done.
Exactly. Yep.
Totally this is how we're consistent. This is, so there's no guesswork. It's just, hey, look, we're going to record a show, and this is how we're going to do it. So anyway, the other reason I want to do that is because Web Security Warriors. Yeah, I just got the website up today. If you go to websecuritywarriors.com, that's the newest show on devchat.tv. They have recorded it the last 3 weeks while I was either checking into my hotel at Podcast Movement nice. Or when I was at the cafe working with a few other people, co-working with a few other people, because I'm not on that show. And so I want to be able to say, look, these are the guidelines. This is the way that it's got to work.
Yep. Man, that came up really slow for some reason.
Dunno.
Did you get were you able to get Troy on the?
I put him in touch with AJ, and I think AJ invited him to the show. I don't know if he's going to be a regular or a semi-regular guest. I don't see him in the chat room, so I don't think he's going to be on regularly. But
cool. Well, that's awesome that you launch a new show. Okay, so it sounds like I'm on the right track, and Eric is listening to this, so.
So I just kind of core dumped a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think your process is good. Just for me anyway, what I would do is just make sure you know how I plan to record and what my process is. So when I'm done recording, what goes where, who does what, and when they're done, what goes where and who does what, until you have your finished product.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it'll take some figuring out to get this whole thing put together, then also I want him to keep track of the topics, like to come up with, like to facilitate the conversation between the panelists, to come up with the topics, and then people that we should interview, like to have him get all that conversation going, so that we constantly know like what is the next show going to be about, and get that set up so that I can be removed from that process, so that is facilitated by Eric, but then executed by the panelists essentially.
Yeah, let me show you something here real quick. Okay. For Ruby Rogues is fine. And then I will share my screen. Let's see, how do we do this?
But yeah, this is all part of that master plan, like I said, to remove myself from the business, which would make it so that I can work on something new if I want to.
So I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah.
But actually, we can move this over because we recorded that on Tuesday. So over here are suggestions. So Nick Quaranto, he's the guy behind RubyGems.org. Eric Wong, Unicorn. People asking about testing and mocking. So these are suggestions, and I mean, people can just dump ideas in there as much as they can.
Oh, I see. Yep.
And then in progress, these are the people that or ideas or whatever that that Mandy is currently working on lining up. And then incoming, so this is next week, this is the week after, this is the week after that, this is the week after that, this is the week after that, so you can kind of see what's there. She also puts it in our calendar, so it's just, it shows up for me. In fact, let me pull that up too, and I can just show you really quickly. So you can see, this is Ruby Rogues, Freelancer show. We didn't have a topic, so we just made one up. I thought it went well. So in any given week, I can just look at a glance and see, okay, we're talking about Sidekick. We have Marcus Blankenship coming on. We're talking about NPM3.
Yep.
I've got, so that's kind of the way things go. And you can see I'm also on the Web Security Podcast invitations.
Yeah.
But I mark those as maybes because I'm not going to be there, but I want them to show up so I know they're happening.
Cool.
So anyway, so that's kind of part of how we manage this stuff. Yeah, so.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, that's basically what I want to do. Like, I essentially want to do what you're doing for the web security one, as much as possible, so that I can get up and code going. I don't want to kill the show, but so I want to keep it going. But I need to extricate myself from as many things as possible.
Like, so something, I don't know if either of you guys have seen this, but one of the guys that listens to us, I can't remember his actual name, but he goes by Mubs. He built that Ben interviewed. He's got another website called suggestaguest.com.
Oh, really?
It's pretty slick. It allows you to suggest guests for podcasts. So it'll give your audience a chance to say, hey, I would love to see this person on your podcast, and be a good way to use some community tools out there to help support your podcast.
That's cool.
We got to get this guy on our
totally
on programmers sometime.
He's listed as the #1 product builder on ProductHunt.com, which is pretty freaking amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, so I mean, as much as you can systemize this stuff, it's going to really make a difference. The other thing I want to throw out there is if you make this your assistant or your editor or somebody's job to just bird dog this and make sure that it's happening, so so that it's getting on the calendars, it's getting into Kanban Flow or Trello or whatever you decide to use. That way, somebody's watching it and you don't have to. And Mandy does that for me, and it allows me to extricate myself a lot from a lot of this stuff. So.
Cool. Yeah, that's my goal. Is like, especially when I get back, then I'm gonna certainly try and get as much as possible. Like, I'll still do the YouTube video. I mean, I'll still do like show up for Get Up and Code episodes, and I'll still write some blog posts. And I'll do the YouTube videos on my YouTube channel because I can batch those up 2 months in one day of shooting. So, but I want to get to the point where I have essentially, I want to be to the point where I have a sellable business if I wanted to sell it. And where I have the bandwidth to basically just be the owner of the thing if I want to, and work on something else. Because I'd like to do another project and then come back to Simple Programmer, just because I'm so disconnected from the programming world now that I'd like to, and I like coding and I haven't been coding, so I'd like to do something. I just don't want to be completely tied to.
I think Trackabout's hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear they had an employee recently.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I might do some game development. I'll see. But,
that'd be fun.
Yeah, just but I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe start a SaaS product or something something like that. But I just want to make sure. I also want to make sure that like I set it up so like again, if I say, I don't want to write blog posts or do whatever podcasts anymore, then the whole thing doesn't crash down. Because right now I'm like, man, I just like if I wanted to quit, I couldn't quit because I would be giving up all this work that I put into this thing. So. So as long as I can keep it running. So I think I'm on that path. Oh, one other thing that I have is I'm definitely, my next project I was trying to decide, should I build a new product? And I was talking to I forwarded you guys that email where that guy was like, you should do something like this blogging, SiriusBloggersOnly.com.
Right.
And I had multiple people that said that. Something similar, and then I was talking to Adrian from PyImageSearch this morning, and he set up a membership site using Discourse, and he was like, you just add a membership plugin to WordPress, and then it has a Discourse plugin as well, and then you can basically create a membership forum. So my next project when I get back to the States is I'm going to set up a Simple Programmer blogging, a Simple Programmer community on Discourse that is going to have for blog graduates mostly to discuss how to market yourself and technical blogging and how to like help each other and succeed, and then also just the Simple Programmer community in general. And I'm going to charge $20 a month to have access to the forum. And I figure if I launch this thing, right, my list is about 13,000. I think I could, on launch day, or launch week, I think I could get 500 signups in the launch. I think that's a pretty.
Here's something you should also do as well. Give people that buy your How to Market Yourself course a free month.
Yes, exactly. Yep. That was actually a topic that came up. The other thing I'm going to do too, which I could use your guys' opinion on this, is obviously I don't want to just launch 500 people into a forum with because I want to guide them in. I want to be like, okay, when you get here, put a post on the introduce yourself, right? And so that we get a community growing. If you have 500 people post on introduce yourself, no one is going to read that. So I've got kind of a double deal here, I'm thinking, which is basically, like I built this thing, right, and I announced it, and then when I launch the Simple Programmer community forums, what I'll do is I'll make it so that there's only 50 slots or 100 slots open on the first wave, and I'm going to stagger the waves so that when the first people that get in, it'll kind of create some kind of like a scarcity as well, which will be a definite real scarcity because I don't want to launch 500 people into it, but I'll stagger it. And then it's possible, I'm thinking that way, that I might sell 1,000 seats instead of 500 because that scarcity element will probably actually make it more likely that people will join.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to have the problem you're worried about on the introduction thread.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the more people you have in there and the more conversations you can get going and the more momentum you can build in the forum, that's going to pay off way more than...
I think your biggest the biggest hurdle with this kind of thing is getting the critical mass of discussion.
Yep.
Okay.
And so I'm a member of copychief.com, which is a guy named Kevin Rogers is a copywriter, and he put together this forum basically like what you're describing, and it's really good. It's actually the first paid forum that I've belonged to that I didn't think sucked.
How much you paid for it?
$67 a month. He's going to charge $97.
Oh wow, okay.
But this is a different market. This is copywriters who are used to dropping $6,000 on a seminar.
Yeah.
It's he does a really good job with it. So pretty much everybody else that I know that's tried a forum though has moved it to Facebook. So keep that as an idea. If you're not seeing much interaction with this, if you can migrate everyone over to Facebook, because everyone's already there. That's the problem. Like,
now, can you
I hate Facebook. Yes, you can have closed groups.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I've never implemented it myself, but you can just have a private group that you add people to.
Yeah, they have
I see.
closed groups and they have secret groups.
The only problem is, like, if it's not integrated with the plugin, like managing, adding, and removing people from groups could be a real pain in the.
They have a groups API. I don't know how it works.
I don't know how it works either. I'm sure you could use like ClickFunnels or something like that. My running coach client is doing this. Theirs and the public speaking client that I had, they're doing the same thing, and it makes a big difference because the biggest problem is that when people leave your site, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
And so two things you can do though to help that are make sure that you can support subscribing to threads. Like if someone replies, that they get an email.
Yeah.
Unless you opt out of that.
Discourse has that built in.
Okay. Yes. And then the other thing that Kevin does.
Discourse. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The other thing that Kevin does that works really, really well is he does multiple marketing emails per week that you get even if you're a subscriber.
Oh,
and he has like a weekly wrap up where he sends out like the best 5 threads that he's found on the site, and that always. So he's got those, and he also has an autoresponder where when you sign up, if you sign up for his list and don't buy the course immediately, you get these autoresponders that highlight the best threads, and it's like, hey, join now to read this. And then P.S. if you're already a member, click here and you can go read it. And then like all these great threads keep getting resurrected. With these
people comment on it. Yeah.
And they pop up to the top. Yep. Yeah. So it's like this. It's like this evergreen machine that just keeps churning up great content and keeps people involved. So you've really got to have some kind of system like that, or it's just gonna become like a ghost town. I've been in several that were ghost towns.
Yeah. One other thing that you may want to do is reach out to 5 or 10 people that you know are really gung-ho about what you've got.
Yep.
And then basically say, look, I'm looking at creating this community, yada, yada, yada. You know, I'm planning on doing this kind of thing, and I would really appreciate it if you would be kind of a community organizer, leader, you know, whatever, and bring them in.
Community organizer.
but the idea is that you bring them in, and their job is to post like 3 times a week to the forum, like create 3 new threads in the forum every week,
and reply to people's stuff. And
Yep. And so they keep the conversation moving, and then you can figure out what makes it worth it for them. I mean, it may just be free access to the community is enough, or it may be, you know what, and then I'm going to do a monthly call for a half hour with, you know, with the organizers and, you know, or leaders or whatever you want to call them for a half hour or an hour, and I'll answer any questions you have about this stuff, and then if you don't have any questions about the forum, then I'll still stay on for the hour, and you can just ask me anything you want.
Yep, that makes perfect sense. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good missing piece, because that'll keep it alive and keep it going, and I could even pay for those positions if I needed to. But I don't think I will at this point, because I think there's a few people that would like to do kind of mentorship, and they would be all over that. So
yeah, and you give them special status in the forum.
Yep.
So they get a trust level and all that stuff.
But I think that's my next best move, because doing that, I think I could easily be bringing in like 10K recurring revenue just by launching this thing like instantly at this point, because I've got such a big audience that has been asking for this for such a long time that I'm pretty sure like minimum 250 signups. I would think if I launch it to my list, and probably somewhere around 500 or more that'd be my conservative estimate.
Yeah, I don't know. It is a recurring sale, so you got to factor that in there. If you were selling a $20 product, I'd say 3 to 5% is a pretty, you know, that should be pretty easy to hit. But I don't know how that translates into the recurring.
Yeah, you've got to get your value proposition nailed down. We're going to have conversations about these things. You'll get, you know, a certain level of access to me. You'll get a certain level of access to people that I've picked to help you out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hoping to provide these kinds of outcomes, you know, but you don't want to be too specific about that, because the forum is going to take on a life of its own.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
But, you know, figure that out and figure out what you can sell them and what kind of outcomes you can help them achieve.
Another thing that I really like about this Copy Chief is he actually built a mini course, a copywriting course, inside one of the forums. And
nice.
It's like an orientation that everybody that goes into the forum, he kind of pushes them. You don't have to do it, but he kind of pushes them through this, you know, oh, you should do this exercise and that exercise and that exercise. Because a lot of these people are business owners who they're either looking for a copywriter, or they're trying to figure out how to write their own copy. So there are like a lot of freelancers like me who've been through a lot of training and kind of know the ropes, but then he's also got like a lot of new people. So that adds a lot of value to have, and the training that he's got there is really, really good. So, you know, if you could put some of that stuff, you know, have some additional content.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I've got tons of stuff, so I can really just like direct people to different paths, like especially like on how to market yourself in building in blogging, and take them through like different blog posts, YouTube videos, podcast episodes that will bring them through, and maybe some kind of condensed step. I mean, this is also going to be coming off of the back end of the creating a blog course, like the email course. So that'll kind of give some, you know, like it won't be just like, okay, here you're in a forum now, and be like, okay, well, you have something to discuss.
Yeah.
Here's some questions. But yeah, I think coming off the end of that blogging one, there could definitely be like homework assignments that are like, okay, now do these exercises, like blog, you know, do this with your blog about this topic, you know, or you know, something like that. But
you could also, one thing to try might be to pre-sell this, or segment your lists, like send out a few and do a short email sequence where you talk about it, and then everyone who clicks through or opts in or whatever, just to give you an idea of the kind of level of interest.
Oh, I see.
On your list before you start building it.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think this is my next play that makes the most sense at this point, because then that'd be monthly recurring revenue. That would be
Now we'll get to
something
hear
that-
John complain. Oh, I only have 350 subscribers, down from 360.
So,
The thing
Well,
is,
the
I've got
thing
a really big funnel though, so it'll help.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so how are you going to do the authentication for it? Is it just going to be through WordPress?
So what Adrian was saying, that the way he set his up was he just used a membership plugin in WordPress, and then there's a Discourse plugin as well
Yes.
that integrates with that, so you can basically just
Oh, okay.
set up membership in WordPress, and then that automatically creates accounts and gives them access in Discourse.
Okay. Because
Unless
I know
you've got a
that
better way. Yeah.
No, I know that Discourse has its own like third-party authentication mechanism that can make API calls to your system that does stuff. But I didn't know if there was a plugin for WordPress that would hook all that up. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how you do that too.
You know, it'd be an awesome business, just to not to sidetrack too far, but to go in and find people that have big communities but don't have forums, and like set it up for them, and then like do it on a royalty basis. So it's like, okay, I come in and I build a community for you and set up forums and set you up with monthly recurring revenue, and I get 10% of it.
Right. Or I get $1 for every member.
Yeah, and you could get good at doing this, and you could get good at identifying all these large communities that don't have. Because if someone offered me that deal right now, I'd be all over it, right? I'd be like, oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
right?
totally.
Like, especially if they're like, oh, I've set up 50 of these before, and look at how many of them are successful and they're making money. I'd be like, yeah, come and do the work for me. I'll totally,
Yep.
you do it, and then you get a percentage of the.
Especially if they know how to sell it to the communities, right? So
Yep.
it's
So I've
it's
I've
like,
got an
hey,
idea
look.
for you then, John. I've got an idea for you then. Why don't you let me set it up for you, and I'll charge you 10%?
You'll charge me 10% of the.
Yeah, of your monthly recurring revenue. I've done integration with a membership plugin before. I know how that works. I'm pretty good with Restrict Content Pro. I can probably figure out that Discourse plugin for you. It'd be an easy couple of monthly bucks for me to set that up for you.
Yeah, but see, I can get that part set up in a day. It's the like doing all the stuff, like having the experience of running the community and
Yeah.
like setting it
Yeah,
up. To
you
be
want a
successful.
community manager, not just somebody to actually set the stuff up.
Well, it's set it up, but set it up for success, like
Right.
setting up the emails, everything to like make sure that this is a successful launch. Not that I doubt that you could probably do a good job with that, but like.
I've got my own problems to worry about.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I'd be looking to, but I think it's a business that someone could make for
Yeah.
sure. Like, because the key thing is like I said, the same criteria would I evaluate? It'd be like, well, how many of these have you done? And if you're like, oh, I've done like 50 of these, and this is the money they're generating, and this is my process, and then it's a pretty easy sell. But
Yeah, you're really looking for a community manager, somebody that can set it up, but also actually run the thing and make sure it is successful and all
yeah,
that.
at least from the beginning to get it.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe hire someone that can run it
Right.
from there. But yeah, anyway, it's an idea. But I don't know. I think that's the next step for me that makes the most sense, because people have been asking for a community. I don't really have a good way for simple programmer people to interact. I've got this thing, like the blogging course, people have been saying, I want to talk to other bloggers that have taken the blogging course. And I've got like now, I think 5,000 people have come through the blogging course. So there's a huge pool of them to, that would be interested. And then it's pretty easy. It's low-hanging fruit, and it would be very high revenue.
Right.
So that's it for me, pretty much.
So jumping back to earlier in the conversation, after finding out that Lead Pages wanted me to call them, I tweeted, "Shady business practice, forcing people to call you to cancel for a 100% online business." And I put below that tweet / looking at you, Lead Pages.
Uh-oh.
And
Nice.
so, of course, they saw it because I directly tweeted it at them.
Yeah.
They opened a support ticket on my behalf, saying, "I'm sorry that you had this problem, blah, 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 yada, yada." They gave all of their reasons for doing it that way, and they tried to call me to talk to me. You kind of missed the point there, Lead Pages.
Don't want to talk on the
I
phone.
don't want to talk to you. I just want to cancel my account.
Yeah.
So I'm going to respond to their ticket. So at least their social media people were smart enough to pay attention and open that support ticket and allow me to email them and say, cancel my account. But I'm going to make sure that they understand why I'm canceling my account.
Yeah,
I'm
Derek,
just not going to talk to them because I don't want to talk to anyone.
Could you tweet why you're canceling it, and then I'll retweet it, and then I can just tell my side of the story
Totally.
as a response to your tweet, because I think that would actually have more power.
Yeah. I definitely. I'll do that once we're done with the call here.
Okay.
You guys are mean.
We are. We're horrible people.
Don't mess with the entre-programmers.
Yeah, because that way they'll find out about me tweeting. Well, they'll find out that I'm already telling people.
And
Right.
again, I just want to say again, this is not
Support
mean because we gave them ample. It's like you give someone a chance to do correct to make a smart choice, and then and this is just blatantly just wrong. So
Yeah, this is almost as bad as dealing with Network Solutions. Network Solutions was like the epitome of shady business practices with almost. Okay, I take that back. GoDaddy is the absolute worst.
no, GoDaddy's not that bad.
No, yes, I have used GoDaddy.
That's just jumping on the bandwagon and
No,
beating
it's
them
not.
up.
I've used GoDaddy.
They try to upsell you. That's all
I
they
am
do.
a customer of GoDaddy, and I regret it more than I regret working with.
Once you're a customer of GoDaddy, you can't not be a customer of GoDaddy because they make it. It's, okay, so I'm not
GoDaddy is the
necessarily.
worst. Network Solutions is close behind GoDaddy, and Lead Pages is pretty bad too in terms of. I mean, their social media people clearly were on the ball, but that's like 1 point in favor of Lead Pages at this point.
By the way, Hover.com, I used their concierge service, which didn't cost me anything, and they moved all my domains off of GoDaddy.
Yeah, I'm on DNSimple, and DNSimple used to have a concierge service, and I used them. This is like a year and a half ago. They don't have the concierge service anymore, but I freaking love DNSimple.
Does Anthony still run that?
Yeah.
I
Anthony
freaking love that
or
guy.
Eden or whatever. It's such a phenomenal. Like everything about DNSimple is exactly what I want in a DNS service. Buy it is extremely easy. One-click button installs for like hundreds of different services to get everything configured, so you don't have to go do it yourself. I mean, anything you can imagine. Heroku and Google Apps and so many other services that you want with your DNS. It's just one click and it's done. It's amazing.
Maybe I should move my.
So also another update on SumoMe.
We should get them
They
as
do
a
have
sponsor.
drip integration.
They do have drip integration?
Yes, they do have drip integration. I just enabled drip integration
Oh,
on SumoMe 10 minutes ago.
awesome. They must have just gotten that done then.
Yeah.
Um,
So I now have SumoMe running on DerekBailey.com to collect email addresses. I turned off my use of Lead Pages.
yes, there it is. It's funny. I think I'm pretty sure that their list is sorted in the order in which they were added. It's like
Yeah,
you have
that's at
Aweber,
the very
Constant
bottom.
Contact, and then drip is all the way at the bottom. Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet. Yes, I will have to set that up because I'm using drip, or I'm using using SumoMe now on all my sites.
Well,
So,
but
I mean-
okay, you guys. I have to tell you though, the Thrive plugin is much better.
No, I agree. Actually, I've been looking at the Thrive stuff since you started using it, and I think one of the things I need to do in order to move my mailing list forward and everything is get a better overall, more focused design to DerekBailey.com, and I've been considering moving to Thrive because of the success that I'm seeing you have with it, and if I do that, then I'm gonna drop some of these other things that I'm using, but for now, before I head down that path, I'm going to take advantage of what I have and improve things, and then see where I want to go from there.
Why are you saying it's better, John? What do you like better?
So
Have you
all
tried
integrated.
SumoMe?
Well, okay, so there's the Thrive themes, which are
Right.
really good in themselves, just because they're
Right.
good themes. They're super fast themes, right? And they have opt-ins built in, like multiple ways to opt in, plus ad rotations, like everything from an internet marketer would want, like because the guy is an
Right.
internet marketer that designed it. But then even if you're not using the themes, the Thrive leads is like it does everything, right? It like and again, it's lean again. It has a full designer in there, and you can do hello banners, you can do pop-ups, you can do in-content or sign-up forms, sidebar, uh, bottom of content, and you can combine them, and you can chart their, do A/B testing, and and it's fast. So I can't. I've tried all the other stuff, and I can't find anything that's better than that.
You probably haven't tried SumoMe lately. Um, they're adding on to this thing like crazy. They've got so what I've been using right now is the welcome mats,
Hmm.
which are those like it's basically a full screen. It's basically like a welcome gate.
Yeah.
So you can do that. You can do pop-ups. You can do hello bar style. There's heat mapping. The social media. Basically, he's making this into Noah's making this into like your kind of one-stop shop for pretty much anything sharing or audience building related. And they just keep. I'm amazed how much stuff they've added in even just like the last 6 months since I last looked at it. It's yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know.
It is pretty amazing.
The Thrive, I should probably look at it, but I'm not a big fan of like having a theme that has all that stuff baked into it.
Well, there's the plugin as well. I mean, the theme has it,
Yeah.
and then there's the Thrive Leads plugin. Take a look at it, though. I'm curious to get your take on it, since you're familiar with so familiar with the Sumo. Like, if you look at the Thrive stuff,
Yeah.
but I've been really happy with the Thrive stuff.
One thing that SumoMe is doing differently is they now have a monthly subscription to get some of the more advanced features.
Yeah. Yeah, A/B testing, you got to pay for that.
Well, not even just that, but like different themes that you want that I
Right.
want for the email pop-up, and there's a lot of features, a lot of things that they have in the monthly subscription. I'm probably going to pay for it because I think it's worth it.
Yeah, they also charge you per it's like you only pay for the monthly subscriptions you want, which
Right.
you can also spin that around and say you don't get everything for your monthly subscription. So you have
Yeah.
you subscribe to different parts of the software separately. But yeah, right now I'm testing for my client. I'm testing 2 different welcome mats, and they're both doing actually pretty well. This is the explainer video client, so they're both converting around 2%. So I think I'm gonna probably one of them is like an offer for like a discount. It's not. It's an add-on to the sale, and the other one is an offer for free info. So I think I'm gonna probably end up killing the free info one and going with the offer for that kind of leads you more to the sale. It's like 15 free seconds on your video, and they're both converting pretty much exactly the same right now. So
Nice. So you said about 2%?
yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
good.
which is that's actually low. That's actually lower than what I was seeing on SublimeTextTips.com. Just with they get the weekly newsletter. But this site has just been such a. I'm just very happy to see any conversions at all coming in on this site because it's just been such a tough nut to crack for me.
Well, think about it too. Like, I mean, Sublime Text Tips is very like if you go there and you're using Sublime, why the heck would you not want to get tips?
Well, 98% of people disagree with you, but.
I thought you said you're getting a higher percentage than 2.
It's like 2.5%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like exponentially higher. But
I want to see these people that have like 10% conversion rates on their pop-ups or whatever. Like, what the heck are they doing? Like,
yeah,
'cause I've seen like people doing that, and I'm like, I just don't get it. Like, it doesn't make sense.
well, you see case studies from time to time from people like, and typically what I've seen is that they're bloggers that have what basically they probably have red hot traffic coming to their site because they've done a lot of guest posting. They're in the marketing niche, so everybody in the marketing niche
Oh yeah.
puts their email address in every single box that they see anywhere on the internet. So I don't think it's really, you can't really compare across niches too well.
That's true. Yeah.
And a lot of so Brian Harris has had some posts where he talked about his rates, and I think he usually gives you an overall rate for the site, which is like after he's done a bunch of like 10 different things. And actually the highest converting stuff is usually his content upgrades, where he takes his highest traffic blog posts and then adds some goodie to the end of it. Then you have to opt in specifically to get that.
Exactly. Yeah, I need
It's
to do
super
content
targeted.
upgrades. That's something that you should do too, Derek. Like from what I can tell, that's the best way.
Yeah, if you've got, you have to look at your numbers. I mean, we were talking about that for my explainer video client, and so he's getting like a third of his traffic goes to his homepage, and then the rest goes to some of his blog posts rank up pretty high, but he's only getting like 200 page views a month on the best one. Well, if you convert 10% of those, it's still only 20. I mean, that would be good actually, but if he only converts 3 to 5% of them, is it even worth messing with?
Right.
Probably not right now. Maybe later, but.
Yeah, it depends on your traffic, but like I've got blog posts that do like 500 views a day.
Yeah, that would be.
Those are worth for sure, right? It's like,
right, definitely. Right. Yeah, especially if they're evergreen posts that have been up there for a long time.
Yep.
Definitely worth it.
Did Josh freeze?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Your video froze for a second there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm doing a giveaway actually this week, and let me see what my numbers are at. So I had an absolute disaster.
Multiple, right?
Oh yeah, I'm up right now. I've got like 21,518 new signups.
What?
So,
are you kidding me? Hold on.
No.
What a disaster!
We have to dissect this a little bit. Why is it because? Okay, did you get hit up on Hacker News again?
I never posted that on Hacker News last time.
How do you keep doing this? Because
last time you didn't.
The last time I did a giveaway, I got 4,000 total signups.
Well, okay, we got to look at my.
Is it Sublime? Is it that?
No. Okay, so what I've found from talking to people who've done giveaways is that the typical giveaway, it's going to be proportional to your list size. So if you've got 4,000 people, Derek, then 2,000 is a pretty good response, or 3,000. So anywhere from 50 to 100% of your list size is what I typically hear. And then every once in a while, somebody will get one that goes nuclear, like mine, And there was one guy that had 60,000, that he had no list at all, and he got 60,000.
Well, that was you though.
Well, yeah, that was basically me. I had 5,000 when I launched.
Okay, so you had enough kindling to start a flame.
Yeah.
And it just happened that flame, because your flame hit Hacker News, and then it hit like.
I don't know if it did, honestly. I never looked, honestly.
I thought I saw the contest on there. I thought it was way up.
Well, I did. So yeah, we did that. I've done 3 This is my 4th contest.
This is your 4th one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first 2 I did okay, but I only got my best one only got about 1,800 signups, and that was the one that was on Hacker News that you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
That was without King Sumo. That was just me throwing up a web page saying opt in here, and
the King Sumo makes a big difference because it's the sharing.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then the one I did, of course, went nuclear, and that one, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what it was that tipped it. I wish I did. I wish there was some way to know what tipped the scales on that one, because I only had 5,000 people on my list, and I think I had maybe 1,000 people from my list actually sign up, and if that, it might have been half of that. But so this time I set it all up, and I launched the giveaway, and I got up. I was seeing, like, I emailed you guys. I had around 400 visits, and actually I actually think that I'm using Nginx now, and I think Apache actually scaled better, because last time I capped out at 75 or 750 people, and this time it seems like once I hit 400, the site basically just died. I mean, it was just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, and so I don't know enough about Nginx to know.
What size box you have? Because Nginx,
It's pretty small, but
Nginx should work better because
Yeah.
it's because Apache spins up like
multiple processes.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but it pegged my CPU. I mean, my CPU was at
Yeah.
100%.
That's probably
And-
the weakness, yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking I was gonna wait and let the traffic go for a while and try to get some momentum and then upgrade the box, because that would take the site down for like 10 minutes to do that. But it didn't. The traffic kind of died down on its own, so it hasn't been hammering the site as much.
Did you pull up the site at the time when it basically?
Yeah, that's actually how I knew. That's actually how I remembered. I automated it all, and then I was like working on SublimeTextTips.com, and then suddenly my admin console wouldn't load anymore, and I was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Oh, it's 9:50. My email just went out."
There would be a use case for Azure over, because then you could just.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yep.
but
Yeah,
you
you
can
could
sort of
scale
do
it.
the same thing with DigitalOcean. I guess you can just.
I don't
create
have
a
to.
clone
I'm on
Linode.
Linode. Yeah, I could have just. I should have just bit the bullet and upgraded beforehand, but I just didn't think of. I didn't think of it. So last time it did okay. I mean, 750 simultaneous users was where it seemed to cap out before. So yeah, I think that slowed it down. But then what really killed me was that I was using Mandrill. I was using the Mandrill plugin,
Yeah.
and Mandrill, unbeknownst to me, which I've been advising people to use, caps you. If you're on the free tier, they rate limit you to 250 emails per hour. My site probably queued up 1,000 emails in 30 seconds when that email hit.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I was like, I noticed the traffic kind of dying down and dying down. I was like, what's going on? And so then I was logged into my site, and I noticed Mandrill was saying, you've sent like 200 emails. And I was like, what? That's ridiculous. So I went into my account, and sure enough, there were like 3,100 emails in the queue, and like 200 had gone out.
No.
I was like, no, because that's the getting back into their inbox immediately like that is super valuable to getting the sharing thing going. So yeah, so I went and I paid for a Mandrill account, and it was like they just started blasting out the emails, and my traffic went back up to like 400 simultaneous users for a while.
Now, do they still rate limit you when you upgrade? Or is it?
So they say they're going to rate limit you. They threaten to rate limit you because you don't have a sender reputation. But I haven't seen too much of that yet. So if I was trying to
my
send,
account, I can send 900 an hour. But I
okay,
don't remember if I'm paying for it or not.
they blasted out the emails that were in the queue pretty fast after I paid. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the limit's going to be. But yeah, there's supposed to be some kind of limit. So that's probably not a good idea anymore.
Make note of all this stuff, because one, the follow-up blog post, which would be awesome, you can do, and then two, like for the next time, so you have a totally clear. Because you probably, I mean, all these little things are going to cost you a ton of the virality factor, right? So maybe you took the virality factor from like 1.5 to 1.3, which could. So if you can next time get it more.
Yeah. So I think next time, I think I've disabled postfix on my machine, so I might have to get that set up again.
No, don't
it's
do
still
that.
set up. Yeah, I have to, because I can't. The Mandrill's just not going to handle the volume
just figure it out
Yeah.
ahead of time how you can make sure that it doesn't get rate limited. Like email their support and say, hey, look, I'm going to do a
Yeah.
contest. I'm going to send out maybe
Yeah,
4,000
but
emails.
there's still a lot that because so people put in bad email addresses to
Yeah.
enter the contest. Well, now my sender reputation is damaged.
Not
And
for.
no,
I don't
no,
think
it
that
does.
damages it.
Yes,
does
it does. Yeah, they track your
Undeliverables?
deliverability rates.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they do.
So if they see a lot of undeliverables, then they're going to they could potentially freeze your account. Or I just don't even like I don't like having this dependency for this type of big event like this. I just don't. I think I'm gonna go back to using
Yeah,
my
but
own server for a
if
while.
you open up your own email server, you're gonna get killed. Like
I've got it. I've actually got it. I still have it set up on my site,
it's
and
yeah.
I had Brian go through and lock it down so it's
Oh, okay.
more secure. But yeah, I have not had any problems with it. I know you did, and I know it could happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yep.
Yeah. So that kind of sucked, but it seems like it's clicking along now, and I think I'll probably get somewhere between, I don't know, probably 30 to 40,000 entries. I'm gonna run it for, and I actually have it set up this time. I set it up for in Mailchimp. So before I was just collecting everything as a CSV, and then I imported it all into Mailchimp at the end, and then I got my hand slapped and my account suspended because I had a bunch of bounces and unsubscribes. So this time I have it piping them in directly, and then the bounces happen immediately.
Yep.
So I'm thinking it will look less, I think that they'll not yell at me this time the way I've got it set up. I don't think I've gotten any fraud yet like I did last time. And they also added a CAPTCHA. So if I wanted to, of course there are macros that you can use to check boxes and such. So
Yeah.
Do you understand how they wait?
So if I was thinking if I was getting hammered by fake entries, I could go in and flip the switch and just put the CAPTCHA on, and that would kill it. But so far, yeah, I think it won't be that expensive to use MailChimp. I'll have to pay probably maybe $100 or $200 to send a few emails. But the nice thing about piping them right into MailChimp is I immediately send people a welcome email instead of waiting until the contest is over like I did before, and then they haven't heard from me in 2 weeks, and now they get this email. So now I have this welcome email that goes out immediately, and then they're going to get a follow-up email that says, hey, this contest is ending, but you can still enter. Here's how, or you can still share this, and I tell them how to find the confirmation email and everything, and get their URL. So that'll probably give me a nice little bump at the end.
And you said the 20,000 that you've had so far; those are new subscribers. They're not.
I won't know until I pipe them into Drip, but most of them should be new. I think probably maybe 2,000. I'm going to guess 2,000 will be from my existing list, and then the rest will be new.
Well, that would be pretty dang good. I mean, if you can pull that off every couple of months and grow.
So I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I can do. There's definitely a diminishing return with this, and I think I'm going to limit it to once or twice a year, because I've seen I've just seen my list has gotten several giveaways now. I let Wes do a couple for just like JavaScript related stuff. So I think there's a little fatigue that sets in. And I think probably once or twice a year would be a good cap. I think we actually did do another giveaway, but we just put a mention of it in the newsletter. It wasn't like a
like a dedicated email.
Yeah, dedicated email kind of thing. So yeah, I don't want to kill it too much because it's a nice little shot in the arm. And then I'll probably end up deleting 2/3 or 3/4 of these new subscribers and end up netting, 5,000 to 10,000 new people who are engaged.
But you should be able to make a pretty decent amount of sales off of this too, I would guess, right?
Yeah.
Like based on your last time, what percentage of sales did you hit off of the?
It's really hard. I did that so poorly last time because I didn't do a big. I should have done a big flash sale. Yeah. Which is what I'm going to do this time. Like at the end of August, I'm going to do just to the people who signed up, not to people who were already on my list because I just gave them a sale. Only to the new people, I'm going to do some kind of flash sale, maybe to get both books for $29 or probably even less than that. Get both books for $27 or something like that. So try to I think I can probably get 5 to 10 grand off of a sale.
Nice.
So we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, so that's it was I don't know. The other thing is I wish that so my one complaint with Edgar is bulk scheduling one-time emails is a pain. With the old app I was using, I could just import a CSV with the times that I wanted, and it would just queue everything up, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
And with Edgar, I ended up having to go in and just manually schedule all of them.
Yep.
Which was a pain. I
did the
14
same
of them.
thing.
Took me an hour.
Just do both.
I had the same experience.
Yeah, I could do both. I think that the bulks. I think I had to pay for the bulk scheduling though, with the other tools, and I don't pay for that tool anymore. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm using Buffer and Edgar, and for some things I'm using Edgar.
Yeah, does Buffer? They cap you at like 10 tweets though, right? So.
Scheduled, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Until you pay, and then.
Yeah, I should probably just email Edgar. I'm gonna make a note about that because they probably would build that in.
The thing that's gonna piss me off.
I think I did email them about that once, and I either didn't hear a response or it was a future thing to think about. But the more people that email them, the better.
Yeah.
What's gonna suck for me with Edgar is the RSS thing because I'm moving off of Signal Leaf into Libsyn and then the RSS. So when I do, then it's going to reschedule all those RSS.
We'll see. Okay, so
no.
It only does
you
the
should
last
not
10.
be putting. You should not be putting your podcast RSS into Edgar. You should be putting your blog RSS into Edgar.
For Get Up and Code, you're right. That'll work and that won't change. But for Simple Programmer Podcast, it's just the RSS directly that I.
Well, can't you just? But you publish blog posts. You publish blog posts with those episodes. So just.
I don't.
Yeah.
Not for Simple Programmer Podcast.
Oh.
What What do you link people to? How do people
find the podcast?
What do they
iTunes.
click on?
They go to iTunes.
I'm confused. How is Edgar going to tweet an RSS feed that goes to iTunes? An RSS feed for a podcast. What's it going to link to?
I've got it set up now. Like, hold on, let me look at my Twitter and see what kind of tweets I'm sending out about the Simple Programmer Podcast episodes because I just sent one out. Okay, Simple Programmer Podcast 001 Introduction. It was sent 3 hours ago. And it came from Edgar, right? Like,
there's no link in it.
No, there's a link.
Why isn't anyone listening to my podcast?
It's pointing to the media.signalleaf.com.
Oh, directly to the episode.
It's going straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really bad idea.
Why? You can click it and listen to the episode.
You're sending people directly to you're sending people directly to an MP3 file. Most people don't know what to do with that.
Your browser.
You should be sending people to a blog post or even sending them to your iTunes would be better than sending them directly to the MP3.
So I did this. I hooked it up to an RSS feed, and if you click on the link, it actually takes you to the page. So in your RSS feed, you have the enclosure for the MP3. And then you have the link, which is the page, the web page, and it's linking to the link, which is the web page. So as long as you have that set up properly, it shouldn't be linking to the MP3 player. MP3, it should be linking to the.
I don't have a web page for Simple Programmer podcast episodes. They just go to iTunes. Or they just publish on the RSS. Like they're just.
Yeah. Do you have an example of the tweet?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want it going to the MP3. I agree with Derek. You want it going to simpleprogrammer.com/here is where you get the awesome podcast episode or watch the video or something like that.
But I'm not publishing that on Simple Programmer or on Simple Programmer.
Why not?
Just because I am already publishing the YouTube episodes, which are the same.
Then link to the
so-
YouTube episode.
Right.
Well, then people won't be able to find the podcast. That's why I launched the podcast.
But how are people finding the podcast anyways if you don't have it on your website?
Well, they can find the iTunes on the website. But if you go to podcasts on simpleprogrammer.com.
Yeah, you could even just have them all so that the links are. Of course, that kind of sucks on Twitter, but you could have it just linked to simpleprogrammer.com/podcast.
Oh, so all the titles are. But how could you? But I still need an RSS feed that would link to there.
Here, I'll show you what I've got here because it's. I can share my screen again.
Anyway, whatever RSS feed I put in is going to start over at episode 1, which is going to suck on Edgar.
Well, so what I've been finding lately with Edgar is that they only import, and maybe it's just my blogs, but they only seem to import the last 10.
That's
Which
probably
actually-
your
Oh, no,
blog.
it pulls them all in.
But your
for-
blog is probably only publishing the last 10 in the RSS feed.
What is this feed wrench thing?
Yeah, this is something that I built a while ago that I need
Yeah, I
to. But anyway, so you can put the link in here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why it's not in there. Now I have to go harass Mandy. Oh, it's not in there because it hasn't been. This is
Published,
the
yeah.
episode that comes out next week. This one better have. Yeah, there you go. So this, if you look at the actual RSS feed, it has a link element in there under the item in the RSS feed, and that's what Edgar is linking to. So if you look at, yeah, you can see that. So you can actually look and see.
Yeah.
The tweet is right here. If you click the bit.ly link, then it. Anyway,
But
it takes you to the right
I don't
place.
have feed wrench.
Well,
I can't customize my RSS.
we can be friends. I can hook you up.
All right. We'll talk. I'll figure something out. I mean, I could also publish the
Yeah.
posts on Simple Programmer and just
Yeah,
not put
but
them on the front page.
Yeah, but in the XML, there's a link element in there, and that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
this goes into,
So
and that's what I'm linking up to.
the ultimate problem here, John, is that you're not going to get any significant traction with people finding you or being able to get to your content without just knowing about it. They're either going to have to accidentally stumble into your website and find the podcast page to go subscribe to it, or they're going to be told about it from some other means.
No.
If you want people to be able to end up getting to it through Google, you need a blog post for. You already have a blog post for your YouTube videos. You should do the same that we're doing with Launch Programmers. Have the YouTube video and the podcast episode, and give people the ability to have either one right there in the same post.
Okay. I'll have to think about how to do that. I just didn't want to create too many posts, and then I guess if they're in the same post, maybe I can get Andrew to do that. Well, I'm not posting all of the YouTube videos right now. That's why I wasn't doing that.
But for any YouTube video that is also a podcast episode, you should do that. For any podcast episode that has no other content, no other relevance to anything else, it should be a blog post on its own.
Well, all of them have YouTube videos associated, or at least most of them do, but because that's where they come from. But the problem really comes down to the fact that I didn't want to publish 3 posts when I was only doing 1 blog post a week.
Yeah.
That was my blog post. I didn't want to publish 3 YouTube videos or 3 You see what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, but so put the podcast episode in the YouTube post.
Well, but I'm only doing 1 YouTube post a week right now. Just the best one from the 3 from the previous week. But people are finding it. I got 19,000 downloads last month.
I think you could triple that traffic or quadruple it. I'm not understanding where the podcast episodes are coming from. How are you?
Okay.
You're telling me conflicting things because you said that not all of the podcasts have a YouTube episode, but they all come from the YouTube episodes.
Okay, so here's how the process works, right? The YouTube content that I create, like your interview, and then the YouTube videos
Right.
that I record, all
Yeah.
of those, when they become published on YouTube, when they go live, they also get created into a simple program or podcast episode that also
Mhm.
gets published at the same time. Now that just means published to YouTube and published to iTunes, right? Or
Okay.
right. But then on the blog, right now, what happens is every Thursday, Andrew looks at the 3 YouTube videos that were posted last week on YouTube, and he picks the one that has the most views, and that becomes an actual blog post on that Thursday that's transcribed. That's
Okay.
an actual blog.
Okay. I see. You should still include the podcast episode in that one post for that one video. So that one post with last week's most popular video should include both the video and the podcast episode, and give people the choice. Go subscribe to YouTube or go subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, right now I'm tweeting out the YouTube video and I'm tweeting out the podcast separately, so I'm getting more like hits on. Like if I think if you click on that tweet of mine on your mobile phone, it'll try and pick it up in your podcast player, right?
It'll pick it up in my audio player, but what good is that to me? I don't have a way to subscribe to that.
Yeah.
Well, is that true? Let me see what happens when I click
I
this.
cannot subscribe to an MP3 file. I can only subscribe to an RSS feed. And your link is not going to the RSS feed, it's going to the
It's
MP3
going directly
file.
to MP3. So
Yeah.
how are people subscribing to this?
They are
You're probably
looking
finding
for
it on
you.
iTunes.
You have people that want your content so badly they are looking for it. You could like quadruple your subscriber base by giving people an easier way to discover and subscribe, just by including the podcast episode, the one episode in the blog post with that YouTube.
What if I did an iTunes link, like an RSS feed? Is there an iTunes RSS feed that I could use that is
There is an iTunes link you can use.
that for each that's an RSS feed that is the actual iTunes
No,
episode?
not for each episode, just for your show.
Yeah.
Oh, because I need one for each episode that is the RSS link.
I would create a
Right,
blog
yes.
page, a blog post page, and then I think Derek's got the right of this. Put a blog post page up. You don't have to list it on your front page,
Yeah.
and then just put that as the link, and then people can go and it just says, hey, here's the audio, here's the video, and here's how you subscribe,
Okay, I guess that.
and here's how you share.
I just didn't want to make extra work to be done for the podcast. I was trying to make the podcast as simple as possible.
Yeah.
But you
Well-
want people to be able to find it and subscribe to it. I mean,
Yeah.
frankly,
Yeah.
I'm shocked that you have that many people downloading episodes. If the way you're advertising it is just is what it is. I would
Yep.
I would include the podcast audio for the video that goes on your blog. So like I've said, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to figure out a way to do that. I'd like to make it as automated as possible, but. Okay. You're right though. I got to figure something out because I didn't realize it's just linking to the media file, which does not help you subscribe to the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I
It's
wonder if
nice for
there's
that one episode, but
Yeah, I wonder if there's something in Edgar to is there something to make it so that you can append something to the RSS feed that it pulls in?
No, I haven't seen that. I'm gonna go bug them about that.
Yeah, because that would be
'Cause
nice.
that's what I want. Because it just tweets the title of the podcast episode out. And
Yeah.
what I want, hey, go check out this old episode of JavaScript Jabber. Blah.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Like IFTTT lets you do tokens.
which is something you could do instead of Edgar. If you want to tweet RSS, you could do it through IFTTT.
Well, the nice thing about Edgar is that it's all like in my library,
one
so
place.
it's like
Yeah, it gets rotated through.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and IFTTT it'll post it once, but that's it.
Right.
It won't do recurring.
yeah. Okay, I'll have to think about it. See, if you're running Signal Leaf, I could just have you make a special RSS feed for Signal Leaf that would do something when you click the link, like it's a landing page or something on Signal Leaf. In fact, that would be
Yeah, I actually thought about doing that for a while, and
Yeah.
decided against it.
Maybe Libsyn has that? They might have.
They
Something.
do.
Oh, then that's my solution. That's the simplest solution.
You have to pay for it.
Well, I'm paying for the $20 plan or whatever.
It's not included in that plan. It's an add-on service where they will host a web page for your episodes.
I don't want a fancy web page. I just want to.
No, that's what you're going to pay for. You're going to pay for a full content management system for your podcast.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I'll have to think on this. For now, it's going to have to take back burner, but.
Yeah.
So I hate to do this, but I've got another call here in a minute. So.
Yeah, we're at 2 hours plus, anyways.
Okay. Yeah, we should cut this. All right. Do we want to hit our thoughts real quick?
Sure.
I have none. My week's been too crazy.
So mine is a quote. I actually quoted this at Toastmasters yesterday because I was filling in for the Sergeant at Arms, who's the guy who starts the meeting and Pledge of Allegiance and all that stuff. And the quote is by Albert Einstein, and he said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the quote right in front of me, but he said that life is like riding a bike. In order to keep your balance, you have to keep moving forward.
I like it.
So, yeah. Sometimes stuff gets freaking hard, and sometimes you just want to give up because it's hard. But the only way that you're going to keep upright is to keep going. Now, that doesn't mean you can't drop, things that are weighing you down, but you have to keep moving. So.
Unless you're one of those crazy mountain bike extremist guys that can actually balance on their bike while standing still.
Mm-hmm.
They're working pretty hard to do that, though.
Yeah, they are.
That's true.
For me, I got, I think the sharpen the saw concept just really smacked me in the face again today because, so I've been working on this a sales page, landing page type of thing for a software company, and I actually think I'm not going to take software companies anymore because I just don't enjoy this type of style of writing. But I was really, really struggling to get anything put together for this, and the reason was this client, I had just dragged his feet on getting me the interviews that I needed. He basically has a handful of customers, and they're in an industry that's very competitive. They're all Amazon sellers, so they don't want to talk about their businesses necessarily.
Right.
So I'm strangling trying to get, I'm drowning on with no information and trying to write this page. And finally I got to talk to one of these guys yesterday for 30 minutes, and the difference today, sitting down to write, I had all these ideas just popping out of my head, and so it just reinforces for me that if I'm hitting serious resistance on writing, chances are it's because I haven't done all my homework yet. So I just have to keep that in mind.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good one. I like. You never want to take the time to research, but
Yeah.
but if you do, then it's makes the task so much easier.
Yes.
Mine would be, I was just thinking from last week that think about where you were. I guess it would be what I'm saying, because I think there is some point where all of us were wish that we could make $200 a month online.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all so far beyond that, and sometimes you get lost and you're like, oh gosh, this isn't working out, or it's all going to crap, and things don't seem to be going as smooth, and then you forget how excited you were when you made your first $10 online, and and you never, I don't know, for me at least, I was like, wow, I if I could just make $1,000 a month online, that would be so awesome, because I'd be supplementing my income by $1,000 a month. How, and I had no clue how to do it, and
Right.
and now I think all of us are sitting in a spot where that seems trivial, but I think it's easy to forget where you were, and just, I don't know, I started reflecting on how grateful I am for the journey, for where I am now, in trying to keep my mind focus on that so that I don't like become, what is the word? Taking for granted. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Jaded. Yeah.
I would just reiterate focus from last week. My week was kind of crazy, just ridiculously packed with things, and the only thing I really got done this week, other than my client work, was writing that post about focus to my mailing list. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do now. I am trying to refocus everything that I'm doing to move my business forward a little bit more, and get back into architecture in JavaScript and more messaging patterns and stuff. And so I started this morning. I reposted an article from my Los Techies blog. I heavily edited it because it was written very poorly 5 years ago, 3 years ago, however long it was. So I heavily edited the wording and made it nicer and reposted it on DerekBailey.com. And so I'm gonna do that with a number of posts, and then start moving forward with new posts again. But that focus is the thing I have to be doing right now, is focusing on the bigger picture, not the day-to-day focus of stop checking Twitter, but the bigger picture of my business focus, the direction that it's heading and why.
You would like that book Essentialism, or also it's called One Thing. Either one of those would be good, because that's exactly what you're talking about.
All right. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yep.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Bye.